Dun, 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 dun. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum. What's up, party people in the house?
What up, though?
Welcome to Texas Live, one of the sexiest voices in the SFL,
Mr. Master.
Dave Axis. What's up, party people of the SFL? What's going on? What's happening? What's cracking this Tuesday night? I am freaking exhausted, but there's nothing that I won't do for my party peeps. As I see all of you in the chat, I will be throwing you guys some shout outs here in just a second. Fucking Cornwall says I look like I'm ready for bed. I am ready for bed. That's why I'm not wearing a hat tonight. Because when I get really tired, my body temperature goes up. It's too fucking hot for that shit. So no hat tonight. You get to look at my beautiful bald head instead. Welcome to Season 20, Episode 14 of Axis Live. I am Dave Axis, your host. You are the party people, and we are going to have some fun tonight. You guys might want to get some popcorn. Might want to get a soda, a beer, some wine, something, because we're going to be here for a minute. This is going to be a 2-hour show. We have a lot going on. We're going to cover all the wild card games. We're going to preview or predict the quarterfinal games. We have 4 interviewers coming on. We've got Bullet. We're going to talk free agency. We're going to talk about the All-Stars. We got Divas of the Week. We have an Owner's Box segment. We've got a lot of shit going on. But before we get to all that, I know, right, Albert? If I say 2 hours, it's 4 hours. First of all, how do I sound? Am I too loud? Am I good to go, Rodney O and Joe Cooley, or what's up? I just got back with Lisa and I. As you guys know, we've been gone for a week. What's up, Nacho? And we went to New Orleans first. We had dinner last Thursday night with, or maybe it was Friday night. Fuck, I don't remember at this point. With Ray and her husband, Jack Flash. You guys know him here in the SFL. That was a great time. Ray, we had a great time with you guys. Great dinner. Love New Orleans. It's a great town. Then we spent a few days on a ranch in the middle of Texas with some friends with zero, and I mean zero, like reception or whatever. I had to go to find like little pieces just to try to check in once in a while. But for the most part, for about 48 hours, no Discord, no social media, no nothing. It was actually pretty fucking great. I did find out, though, I'm glad Nacho's in here, and anybody else that's in Texas or a state that has a Buc-ee's. You guys know how much I love Buc-ee's, and I'm all about Buc-ee's. There is a fucking Buc-ee's knockoff in Texas, and I think it was called, Lisa, if you're still in the chat, remind me, is it called Mr. Texas or something? But I swear to God, you walked in, it looked exactly like a Buc-ee's, total knockoff. I wasn't sure if I should be impressed or if I should be irritated or what, but it was interesting. And then let me see here. I wanted to tell a story. So check this. This is actually kind of fucking funny. I'm walking. We're flying into Charlotte on the way home. We stopped in Charlotte. Oh, the Texas, is that what it was called? I don't know, something like that. Hopefully Nacho's around somewhere. Some Texas peeps can correct me on this. It's literally, it was called the Texas something or whatever. It's called these. Oh, okay, Cliff Allen. But so check this out. We landed in Charlotte in between flights. You know, we're going to catch the flight from Charlotte to Knoxville to come home. And I've got Lisa's backpack, and we had gotten a Dr. Pepper earlier that we hadn't opened yet, and put it in that little, that little net side pocket. And so I had her backpack on and went into she went to the ladies' room. I went into my restroom. Bo Martin Jr., we were there like 55 minutes, bro. We couldn't even leave the terminal. And I walk in, and I'm carrying the backpack by the top strap on my hand. And I'm going in to use the restroom. So I'm like, oh, I better throw it on my back. I go to whip it on my back. And the Dr. Pepper goes flying out the freaking backpack and hits the ground and starts rolling. And it goes all the way through like 3 or 4 underneath the stalls, like where people are in the stalls doing their business. And I just shouted out, hey, somebody got a fucking free soda. I go in, I use the restroom, wash my hands, go to walk out. Some motherfucker threw the Dr. Pepper bottle back out, and it was sitting in the exit way. And I was like, I'm not touching that shit. So anyway, that was my little Dr. Pepper airport in Charlotte story. So there you go. I'm getting ready to check out the party people here right now as soon as I find the right graphic. Before I do, real quick, I do want to give 2 quick updates about the other 2 leagues that we talk about here. Goals is in the middle of the playoffs. They're all of their 4 series right now are all tied 2-1 after 3 games. So check out my Discord for a goals update and for the goals Discord. Yeah, right, Brent? At least I didn't pick. Dude, there's no way I was touching that nasty thing. And God knows who touched it and what they were doing. I just thought it was funny because it slammed. It went right into that first like handicap stall. It did like a freaking 90-degree angle and it rolled like under 2 or 3 more. It was pretty good. Anyway, but the fact that it was where it was when I came out was way away from the last stall I saw it in. So I don't know if they like kicked it back underneath to each other or what, but I didn't want to know. Flavor enhanced. Ricky Spider, I don't think so, bro. Anyway, goals is in the playoffs. And just one more quick update. The SSF, the soccer league that I am part of, that I'm an owner in, the Simulation Soccer Federation, we Knox City still at the top of the table. That's all I'm saying. After 5 or 6 weeks, whatever we got. So there you go. People drink Dr. Pepper? Yeah, we did. We drink Dr. Pepper, bro. All right, let's check out the party people now, man. That's enough. Enough of me yapping, I guess. I guess we could talk about you guys for a minute. Shit. Let me see here. That's like the longest monologue I've had all season. All right, first person in is Bullet Boletsky, followed by Paulie, Ricky Spider, Crazy Canuck, Nate Hall, Fox Highwind, Bob Funk, the lovely, amazing, perfect pink Lisa. We've got Dirty Sheets, Doug Britton in the house with us, along with Josh Farnsey, Cliff Allen, Art Vandelay, Ray, Frank the Franchise, Wade, Bo Morpheus Jr., Albert Begin, talking shit already in the Bridge City Bird. I have a feeling we're going to be hearing from him later. Fox, I already said Fox, Art, Albert, Pseudo Nakai in the house. T the Queen. Oh, T, I'm glad you got your gear. T the Queen got her gear. I know I'm a few people behind on the winnings, but I've got everything documented, so just be patient with me. Brett is here, of course. Saw Brett earlier. Good to see you, Brett. Who else? Who am I missing? Oh, fucking Cornhole's here. Or Cornwall. Did I say Cornhole? I meant Cornwall. My bad. Cornwall's here. Who else is here? Mac Dre, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. La 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 la. I think I said all these names. Nacho, talked about Nacho earlier. Nacho's in the house. Jeremy Vega, what's up? You live 45 minutes from New Orleans? Yeah, bro, I just didn't have time. We flew in. Lisa was there for work. I flew in Thursday afternoon. We had dinner with them Friday or Thursday evening, and we were first thing in the morning on Friday on our way to Houston. Art Vandelay, I think I already said. All right, if I miss you, if I don't say your name, I don't give you a shout out. Make sure you at me in the chat. Neil Rivers, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, go ahead and at me at the chat, and I'll throw you a shout out. Gunny's here. I see Gunny. I see Freddie. Jack Wall. Jack Wall is fuck. Jack Wall's here. Holdorf, I thought I told you not to let him in. M's. Wait, what does that say? Dude, I have my glasses on. I still can't read this. Does it say Ern Skern? Who's Ern Skern? Ern Skern, tell me who you are, bro. I said Mac Dre already. Wow, we got a lot of people here. Tony Roberto in the house, sneaking in here at the last minute. And I think that's everybody except for, wait a minute, I don't think I've said this all season long, the Riddler's back. Wow, I don't think we've seen the Riddler in forever. And Swole sneaking in, the very last one. Swole, welcome back to the show, bro. Good to see you. All right, let's check out our panelists for tonight. Dude, I'm already losing my voice. I've only been here 10 minutes. I'm already losing my voice. All right, tonight's panelists in circle number 1. That is the circle that is closest to me, closest to my heart, because it is my main man who has been with me since show number 1. And we are on show 144, by the way, in case you were counting. And that is no other than Mr. Frank, the franchise Wade. Frank, what's up? Welcome back. How you doing, man? I haven't seen you for a while. You've been on vacation, doing stuff with school. What have you been up to?
Best looking tight end in the league right here in the flesh, baby. We are in the middle of like I had golf regionals today. As a matter of fact, I had to miss school and travel for girls regionals, and then we had boys yesterday, and I got track going on. We started spring football yesterday, so yeah, I'm pretty busy.
It sounds like you're busy. By the way, I'm sure you guys already knew this. I'm probably the only one who didn't know, but I just saw Ernst Skern is Ernest McRae. So welcome, bro. I don't know if you've ever been in the show chat before, but welcome. Appreciate it. Well, Frank, I'm glad to have you back just in time for us to do a couple shows before we take our break for the off season too. So thanks for being here, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. In circle number 2, if I can find this, there it is. He was a special surprise guest co-host a few weeks ago, and he did a great job, so we welcome him back, and for the first time, I believe, as a regular panelist on this show. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Fox Highwind. Fox, what's up? I noticed that you're not at your table or your desk this time. Is that on purpose?
Yes. It's very much on purpose.
I kind of figured.
There's going to be no mistaking anything tonight.
Gotcha.
You look like shit, Dave. But I love you, buddy.
Thank you, bro. And by the way, when you look in the mirror, stop calling yourself Dave. One of the Metters in the house. Good to see you. I mean, listen, I get it. Everybody wants to call themselves Dave. I get it. Trust me. All right. In circle number 3, the guy who's always there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, he's not here tonight. Well, that's kind of disappointing. But you know what? If you guys remember several shows ago, I can't remember which way it went. I'm sure he'll remind me. I either called Tyler Nate or I called Nate Tyler a dozen times. So with no further ado, in Tyler's spot, welcome back to the show, Mr. Nate Hall. Nate, I got your name right, but I can't guarantee it the rest of the night.
Hey, you got it right the first time. That's all that matters so far. Let's see if you can actually keep it up now.
That's all that matters. Hey, just remember, you said all that matters is I got it right the first time. You said it.
Sorry to disappoint all the Tyler's fans out there, but you gotta stare at this lovely face all evening, all nicely shaved, no more beard.
Dude, I just saw a picture of you. I just saw a picture of you on social media like a few days ago, and you had a full fucking beard again. So you just shaved that off? Did you just shave it off? You just shaved it off.
Maybe a week ago.
Okay. You know what? He probably shaved it off. You probably shaved it off before you came on the show because you didn't want to have to go through that shit again.
Actually, it was actually a week ago. I shaved it like last Wednesday.
All right, cool. All right, folks. Tyler can't do Dude, Tyler's done the most shows out of everybody this season. He needs a break once in a while. I think he's moving or whatever anyway. So I think he's moving to Missouri. Sorry.
Somebody's got to be in misery every once in a while.
Everybody, yeah, exactly. All right. Nate, welcome back to the show, bro.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, folks, here it is. Here's the time. You guys throw out your guesses for a chance to win some swag as Jay Ballmer sneaks in here real quick. Who is the special surprise guest co-host tonight? I see. Hold on. Ooh, you guys are going too fast. Johnny, no. Brett Killian, no. Greg Soto, no. Siege Falco, no. Cornhole, no. Twin Screw, no. Johnny, no. Fox, no. It can't be Fox. Eddie, no. The commissioner, no. Commissioner was already. God, you guys are going too fast. I can't keep up. Ray, Nate Hall, Chad, Paulie, Ashley, Meat, Jack Wall. It's not you. Tucker, woo. Oh, that's funny, Cliff Allen. I almost commented on your shit today, by the way. We'll talk about that later. Bucky. Oh, I wish it was Bucky's. Scott Stover, who said that. Art Vandalay, attaboy. That's hilarious. All right. I don't see a winner, but we will go back like we always do and see Mike's chair. That would be bomb, right? That would be the best. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our special surprise guest co-host for season 20, episode 14 of Access Live is not Chad Rowland. It is not Mike St. Green. It is not Jeremy Vega. It is not Julian Tyree. It is not Johnny Pickler. It is not CJ Arthur. It is not Jack Wall. Paulie, didn't I just tell Jack that he's not the guy? Come on. You guys don't pay attention. I swear to God. This is a guy who seems to love baseball more than he loves football, and he always seems like he can only get to third base. But tonight, folks, he's coming all the way home. He hit a home run. He is our guest host. It is Tyler Falk, people. What's up? We psyched everybody out. I know I tricked all of you. What a swerve, right? That's what I'm saying. Sneaky. Anyway, Tyler, what's up, bro? I don't think I've ever said hi to you down there like this before. There you go. Oh, there you go. There's your first bullet point. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me from down here,
yeah.
but I feel like I'm in the wrong spot. Are you sure you didn't mix me and Nate up again?
I did not. No, but if you guys, I swear to God, we need to find out in the chat, what's the over-under for how many times I call one of you the other person. That's going to be terrible. Probably, I would say the over-under is probably, they're already saying 6.5, 15.
15.5.
That's great. Tyler.
Not the first time I pulled a surprise on anyone this week, so.
True that. So first of all, congrats on your new gig.
Thank you.
Second of all, we talked in the pre-show. Somebody asked you a question in the Access Live server, and I was going to give you an opportunity to answer it when I introduced you. So if you want to let everybody know what the question was and who it was from, because I don't honestly fucking remember at this point.
Oh, boy.
It was.
Let's see what we got here. Was from, I gotta go.
Was it Josh Farnsey, I think? I think it was Josh Farnsey.
It was Farnsey.
I found it. It says, Dave Axis, if you do have Tyler on the show, you need to ask him, as someone who has vocally supported his local Minnesota squad, and then in parentheses he says, however you say that Minnesota shit, how is it going to feel now being GM of their biggest rival? And you know what? I think a lot of people thought you were probably going to Minnesota, Tyler.
Yeah, let's just get right to the heart of all of it, because of course EJ and Axel both extended a gracious offer my way, looking for me to take over their general manager spot after current, or I should say now former GM Jason France stepped away from the general manager role. He does plan on sticking with the team. Nothing official yet, of course, with contract signing. And congratulations to Stephen Black for taking his place. For me, the decision was difficult, but I just felt that my ability to, or I should say my desire to call Minnesota games on air vastly outweighed being part of Minnesota.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
And from a public standpoint, I think this is the first time I get to do this, but for everyone that has offered that offered me a spot with their organization, I honestly and sincerely thank you all for giving me the chance to be part of your organization. They all have really good organizations, and I think we would have done excellently. Dave, you offered an extended hand over to me, you and Holdorf, and everybody from San Diego was basically contacting me. Here comes San Diego. But I felt that the offer from Indianapolis was too good to pass up. I wasn't looking for a front office gig, but Chad and Adam have already done something amazing over there, and I just wanted to be a part of it for this upcoming season and seasons in the future. And that's why I went with Indianapolis over a few different organizations.
Understood. And you and I had a good talk, and I understood what you were looking for and whatever, and just didn't line up for us, but you never know what will happen in the future. But good luck in Indianapolis, bro.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, and then I was going to say, I believe you have one other thing you want to let everybody know.
All right. For those of you that remember the program, some eagle-eyed listeners of you might have seen a post in the dispatch box saying, "Please stand by," and a logo of a certain server changed to "Please stand by." So I cannot confirm exactly when a certain program will be back, but will return for season 21. I don't know when yet. I have to settle down in my new location, as you guys call it, Missouri. But I'll be heading up to Missouri here sometime soon and getting settled in there. Once I'm in a rhythm up there, I should have a decent opportunity to figure out how NETMA will fit into my new schedule and how NETMA will return to the airwaves.
All right. Sounds good. Looking forward to it. You know what? Maybe we should alternate seasons. What do you think? I'll take next season off while you do your show. Then you take a break, and I'll come back, and then that way neither of us will get burned out. How do you like that?
You know, that doesn't sound like a half bad idea, but we got people that love your show, people that love my show, or loved my show. Maybe they still love my show. Maybe they hate my show, or just came to watch me do another 2-10 prediction.
2 and 10s are pretty popular, from what I heard.
According to Frank, because I got 2 and 10, that's why I'm down here in this very large box instead of in my favorite corner. So I'm in the wrong corner. Nate, you treat my corner well up there. All right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Tyler. Well, welcome back, and I guess we should probably. Speaking of this show, I guess we should probably get it started. And before we do what we always do to get the show started with bullet points, here's your quick weekly reminder. The SFL convention, July 28th through the 30th in the Natty. So I've already said before, this is a good little party town. Lisa and I have been there. They've done a lot of work, a lot of construction, a lot of infrastructure. It's a good little town, and I think we're going to have a great time. So if you haven't already booked a room, you might want to do it before they all book up. Let's bring in my man Bullet. Bullet, how you doing? How does it feel being home a whole week after being on vacation?
Feels good, Dave, except I got bronchitis from the fucking boat, if you can believe such a thing. Like,
What?
I've been coughing. Yes. Well, I actually got it from my wife. My wife was coughing really bad at the end of the trip, and we actually took her to a Med Express in Florida, and she had fucking bronchitis. And 3 days after I got home, I was coughing like a madman, and I got bronchitis now too. So go figure.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully you'll make it through these, and I love how you just completely threw your wife under the bus and blamed her when she's not here to defend herself.
It's true, but you know,
it is.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? It is. I do the same thing. I'm waiting for Lisa. Lisa's exhausted too. We only slept 3 hours last night, so I'm waiting for her to like fall asleep on this show, which she probably does all the time anyway. But
right.
All right, let's get into bullet points. Bullet point number 1 from last week's show.
Okay. Dave dropped an F-bomb 3 seconds into the broadcast and then said, "Strap in because it's going to be that type of show." In the chat, I said, "Strap in or strap on?" To which Dave replied, "I don't know, Bullet. You were the one who was just on vacation in the Bahamas." I think we're all curious to know where Dave goes when he's in the Bahamas to have that as his frame of reference. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I have no recollection, Senator. Bullet point number 2.
Number 2. Mike O'Neill was a guest panelist, and we all immediately noticed he was sitting on a new chair. And then he bizarrely shushed Dave because he apparently did not want the old chair to hear him speaking. He then proceeded not to speak, in very weird fashion, I might add, for the next few minutes, despite being on camera and Dave peppering him with questions. Lord knows what unspeakable things that old chair must have done to him to have him fear for his life like that. He later claimed it was due to technical difficulties, but I think we all know better.
I think we all know better. I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. Bullet point number 3.
Number 3. When introducing Johnny Pickler, Dave noted that Mike O'Neill must still be having technical problems, to which Johnny said, "Fuck him." That is why Johnny is one of my favorite people in the SFL. Keep doing your thing, Johnny.
It sounds like a Johnny thing for sure. Bullet point number 4.
Number 4. When Tyler was introduced, Dave immediately noticed that Tyler had a white smudge on his cap. Tyler said, "It won't get off no matter how many times I wash it." There are so many jokes here that I'm just going to leave it alone and let the listeners' imagination run wild. It was so distracting, though, that later in the show, the panel was speculating as to how it got there, and Liam said, "It's when the chair came on the air." That, do the math, people. Come
There's I've never heard of a double entendre before. Bullet point number 5.
Okay. Number 5. In the middle of Dave's monologue, guest co-host, all of a sudden we heard a loud, slow, dragging sound coming from Mike O'Neill's camera audio. It sounded like a wounded chair was slowly dragging itself across the room to get its vengeance on Mike. Mike probably won't admit it, but for a few seconds he must have been shitting in his pants, terrified, until he realized it was his wife dragging another chair across the room.
Dude, there was not a person listening to that show that did not think that was the chair coming to kick his ass. That was so
For sure.
It was so loud, bro. I was like, oh shit, here we go. Bullet point number 6.
Number 6. Liam was the guest co-host, and the first thing he said was that he's probably going to upset some people with his shitty opinions. I immediately thought, does he actually watch the show? We don't care. That's why we're here. You'll fit right in.
My guess is he probably does not watch the show when he's not on it. So there's that. But I agree with you. What does it matter? I mean, we're here to upset people. We're here to have fun. I think some people are going to get upset in some segments tonight anyway, Bullet. So you'll have a lot to work with for next week. Bullet point number 7.
Number 7. Mike had a hot mic moment when he apparently said to someone off camera, "Baby, you're in the picture," and then told them to get on the bed. We all speculated that he was actually talking to the chair. Stockholm Syndrome, anyone?
Dude, Mike O'Neill's all kinds of fucked up right now.
Yeah, he was the star of the show last week.
He definitely was. He had to make up for the chair the week before, I guess. But
For sure.
For sure. You can't be outdone by a piece of wood. Bullet point number 8.
Number 8. During one of my bullet points, the sound was a little sketchy, and Dave let me know that I was going in and out. If I had a dime for every time Dave said that to me, I'd be a wealthy man. Again, do the math, people.
That is a humongous pause, and I don't even know what to say about that one. Bullet point number 9.
Oh, gotta compose myself. All right.
What is that noise? What's that noise, you guys?
What?
You guys hear all that static?
No.
Yeah, it's one of you guys for sure. All you guys should mute up real quick and let me see where it's coming from. Sorry, Bullet, we're in the middle of some technical difficulty, which we normally don't have. I'm still live. I'm not dropping any frames. Anybody have an idea where that's coming from?
I hear nothing.
Oh,
Dave.
it just went.
I don't hear.
It went away now.
You
I
still
don't
here?
hear anything either.
Yeah, everybody still here? That was like that felt like a natural disaster or something. It was like a fucking earthquake.
I thought you were starting to add sound effects.
Right.
We're getting excited here.
Dude, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was, but hopefully it doesn't happen again. All right. I don't know if you guys could hear it could you guys hear it on the show too? That was crazy. All right. What are we on? 9?
9. I think it's 9. All right. Here we go. When analyzing how season 20 played out, Mike said season 20 was drunk. I couldn't agree more, but then again, I've been drunk for most of the season, so what the hell do I know?
Exactly. Dude, that's no lie, though. Season 20 has been absolutely drunk. Dave taking a cold shower from the bullet points, says Cliff Allen. Nice, bro. Nice. Bullet point number 10.
Number 10. When discussing the parity and competitiveness of the league, Dave said that his Mavericks were only 3 possessions away from being 10-2 instead of being 7-5. In the chat, my head coach Art Vandelay accurately explained that the Storm were only 33 possessions away from being 7-5 instead of 5-7. True story.
That is a true story, and it's got to be true because Art Vandelay said it. All right, final bullet point number 11.
Number 11. when asked why he picked Alamo City over Minnesota, Mike said, just to piss Tyler off. This is the kind of in-depth game analysis that we need.
That's what I'm saying, right? We don't. I mean, you could talk X's and O's, but what it really comes down to is who can we piss off.
Sad
Exactly.
legend noises.
That's it. And I mean, look at. I think we just lost 4 viewers when that noise happened. So I guess we're pissing people off already. Bullet, thanks for being here. I appreciate them as always, and we'll see you next week.
You got it, Dave. Thanks.
All right, see you, bro. All right, folks. I want to talk about some free agency real quick. This is only going to take a couple minutes. I'm going to go around the horn and ask a few questions to find out why there seems to be more bigger free agents this season so early, including a few owners. Frank, I'm going to start with you. I don't know if you've seen, but both BJ Loveless and Ethan Kai, now they're not free agents, I understand, but it goes with what I'm talking about with people leaving teams and retiring. 2 owners, both newer owners, by the way, but only had their team a season or 2, I think. 2 seasons, I think, on both. Now retiring. What do you make of this? Is it an owner's thing where because of the new game they want to concentrate more on the new game, you think? Do you think they just want to help the influx of rookies that are going to be coming in since the minor league's so big? I mean, I'm kind of not sure where to go with this. What do you think?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that they're trying to let some younger guys come in and start their story in the SFL. I think they're trying to still figure out how the new game system is going to work. You know, how many slots are there going to be available for each team? And I think they're just trying to free up some spots just for some youth to be injected into the team.
Fox, you're one of the names that has declared free agency over the last week or so, including a few from Canton that we heard about that same day, a couple others, a couple people switching teams. Obviously, Tyler here was a free agent for about 90 seconds or whatever it was. But what do you make of this? Do you think people are kind of jockeying for position with teams they want to be with because we're going to this new game, or what are you making out of all this?
Yeah, personally, I think so. I think that has a lot to do with it because, as you said, there's some big names out there. You know, Cam Curtis is out there, Kendra is out there, Cliff Allen. He declared free agency, still in the playoffs, just like me. I think that I thought there would be more. Like it start a trend of more and more people declaring, because going into this new game, there's so much unknown, and because of a lot of big names being out there, then people kind of want to get their name out there earlier rather than kind of holding off.
Yeah, and I could see that. And you know, Nate, last week we touched on this conversation just a little bit with Liam. And how it's different point of view from an owner's perspective and a player's perspective. I think most of us who are also players lean towards the player perspective. We've had a couple. We've had one retiree and one free agent, even from San Diego. What's your take on all this early movement this season?
Look, as far as the owners go, I think the owners think that going to this new game is going to be a big learning curve, and they want to retire their players to spend as much time getting to know this new game as much as possible and get a head start on learning this new game and try to get a head start on getting their team to get maybe a step above the other teams this coming season 21. There's various reasons from different players why they might be moving, and I don't think it all stems from just this new game either. I've heard from a couple of players, and it's not, I won't mention any names, but I know that a couple of players, it's not because of the new game, but because of some internal struggles that's going on with some squads, and they felt it necessary to leave their squads and test new waters. So
okay,
yeah, be that as it may, there's various reasons why they felt the necessity to leave now and do it earlier and not cause more turmoil within their former teams.
All right, Tyler, you heard what these three said. You heard what I said. Of course, you've got the tight ends are probably the biggest divas in this league with Frank and Benji and Worm and Jack Wall. Benji in the chat saying he's not declaring free agency. He's going to be declaring expensive agency. So I guess I better pony up the dough in the new game for my tight end one, who's an all-star, by the way, I might add. What's your take on all this? I mean, you see things from a little different perspective now that you're technically a GM now. You've run that
Technically.
Well, technically.
Technically.
Well, I mean, because it's still there in season. I don't know. It's whatever. You know
Our
what I'm
season's
saying.
over.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I'm
But-
already making.
Dude, it's been over for like 5 minutes, man. Anyway, so here's the thing, though, is that I feel like I've seen this before, early free agency, but it's been a minute. It's been maybe season 15 when everybody, when we were going to have that huge draft and people were jockeying for position then. I don't feel like I've seen it for the last 4 or 5 seasons. Why again all of a sudden, and do you think the new game is a big part of it?
So, a couple things, right? We've seen in my experience, there's been 2 big movers, and I know you've been here longer, Dave. I know other folks have seen lots of big movers too, but these last 2 expansion drafts, season 16 with San Diego, Portland, and season 18 with Minnesota, Seattle, Indy, and Canton. Those were 2 big movers in my day. So I think it comes with a couple of these huge milestones in the league. We've had roster expansion. We've had moving into the progression era and expanding the roster then. So there's these big moments as the league continues to grow. 20 seasons, 10 years, and we're going to see plenty more of that. Look at the NFL. They didn't end up into 32 teams right away. We could trace all the roots back all the way until there was just a few
Right.
on terrible sod for all we know. Some teams were actually playing indoors before indoor football got its start. Look up I want to say it was the football championship that took place in Chicago that got played indoors in some coliseum. I can't remember. But we're going to see more of this. Reason why it's so big this season is because there's a lot. Fox put it perfectly. There's a lot of unknowns. My biggest question, which I think not a whole lot of people are talking about, is how the regression system works. What I mean by that is, say you do retire your player or test free agency and don't get picked up, for 1-2 seasons, there was a clear and accurate way of regressing. So if you were a gold player, you miss 1 season, you go back to being a silver player, and you have all those stats that make you a silver player. How is that going to work with the money side of it, the quote-unquote money, the money that's being paid to everybody? How is that going to work for the players that will have to transition into the new system with their old silver, gold, bronze stats if they do decide to come back? That's my biggest question. I think that's not getting asked.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I feel like it might even be more than that. But real quick, I want to throw a shout out to Aaron Kozak, who just popped in. Do any of the 3 panelists up there, Frank, Fox, Nate, want to respond to what Tyler said? And then I'm going to throw out real quick, if there's any free agents that want to come on the show next week, and let me ask you what your thought process is and stuff. Go ahead and DM me. Send me a personal DM so I get it. I'd like to get, kind of inside some of your heads and find out why the not mass exodus, but why the high numbers so early on. Frank, Fox, Nate, anybody of you want to respond to what Tyler said or what I said?
One thing I was going to say, and I meant to say this earlier, is that, a lot of teams have gotten better at vetting who they want to pick and to keep. Because these guys are not only getting drafted for that season, they're getting drafted and hopefully staying with that team for the long haul. But that doesn't happen with everybody, and they know about halfway through the season, this is not where I want to be. This is where I don't fit in, and they start putting feelers out as the season's going on. And as soon as the season's over, and that name's thrown out there.
But don't you think, Frank, and I'll open this up to anybody, with the new game and some of the unknowns that we still don't know yet, but we're starting to learn, right? We got a whole bunch of information on Friday. I missed that, unfortunately, but I'm trying to catch up on it. I know Cam is going to be bringing out some more information with progressions and stuff as we go. But Frank and anybody else for that matter, Frank, I'll give you first response though. Don't you feel like in a situation of unknown that jumping out into an unknown into free agency is like almost double dipping into the abyss or something? I mean, it seems like you should kind of stay where you're at, figure things out for season. Then if you want to be a free agent, go next season. I feel like everybody's thinking this backwards, or am I the one thinking this backwards?
Well, I mean, that is true. There is an unknown factor out there, and that is going to keep that's going to keep a few people on the team that they're on. But I think what outweighs that is if you don't feel comfortable in the locker room, or if you haven't bonded with people, but you've bonded with others from other teams, and they start communicating, I think that kind of outweighs the uncertainty.
All right, who wants the last word on this real quick? Anything?
I think Frank hit the nail on the head. It's like there is uncertainty with the new game coming, but if you don't feel comfortable in your locker room, or you don't feel like your team is going to be ready for the transition, and they're going to be far behind the eight ball, then it's much less of a risk to put yourself out there.
Yeah, I feel like most teams have been trying to get ahead of the curveball, but here's the interesting dynamic to that, right, Fox? And if Nate, if you want to chime in, and then we got to move on. We're like fucking 15 minutes behind already.
Yeah. Yeah.
If your team's in the playoffs, we're seeing more people like you and you, I think you said Cliff Allen and whoever else, becoming free agents while you're in the playoffs. Is that saying I don't have faith in my team, that they're going in the playoffs, so they're playing longer, they're having to concentrate longer on APF, so they're going to be behind the eight ball with the new game? Or is it safe to say that we're all kind of preparing for the new game as well as, still playing APF? I don't know what the answer is, Nate, but go ahead, and hopefully I asked my question where it doesn't.
Yeah, no.
Not too confusing.
The last thing that I was just going to say is a lot of these free agents that are on the list are going to be going to a team, their third or fourth new team in the 5 or 6 seasons that they've been in. And how many teams, how many owners are going to be out there that are going to be willing to look at a player who's been moving around so much, even with moving to a new game? If they, it depends on if they want to look long term or not, I guess, in their rebuilding or not of their team. But I know if I were owner and we were looking at a free agency list and saw a list of players on that free agency list and saw somebody on there that's moved to 3 or 4 different teams versus somebody who's been with the team for 5 or 6 seasons, I think I'd be looking for a longer tenured player.
Yeah.
Before I look at someone that moved around so much.
I think at the end of the day, if San Diego had made the playoffs and we had a few people, 3, 4, 5 people or whatever, say they want to go free agency, I'd have to take a look in the mirror and say, what am I doing wrong, or am I doing anything wrong? I don't know, but very interesting dynamic we have. We'll talk about this some more next week. Like I mentioned, if you're a free agent and you want to talk to me next week, shoot me a DM. Let's get into some really fun stuff, though. And this is the last thing we're going to talk about. Then we'll start breaking down some games. And we're about, like I said, 15 minutes behind. SFL Season 20 All-Stars. I just put up here, I put both the West and the East rosters, and we'll break them down by conference. I'm just going to go to you each one time on each of these. But here's the West roster, and I believe let me set the stage here real quick. I believe that we used to vote on All-Stars, and it became more of a popularity contest, so Cam took it over. Cam, I don't know however many seasons it was that he did it. He chose it, based on who he thought was, based on stats, based on performance, right? This season, and I don't know if this is the first season, but I literally, to be honest with you, I just heard about this today or yesterday, that there was a committee, I guess, this season. I don't know how many people. I don't know who was on the committee. But would be interesting things to find out. By the way, I just saw a couple people pop in. Oh, Ricky Spider was here already. Who else did I just see? I don't know. There's a couple of you that jumped in, so welcome to the show. I missed you. Sorry. I'm going to ask each of you to give me, like, maybe somebody you see on there that for sure you agree that they made it, but also would like to tell me if there's a snub. If you see a snub on there. You could take me out of the picture if you want. You don't have to talk about me. And let me know your feelings, because I've already heard some scuttlebutt that there's been some good arguing and fighting about a few snubs. And so I'm interested to get to the bottom of that. Ray in the chat real quick. 4 owners, 2 GMs, 2 players, and 1 league staff to break ties. So 4, 6. So there's 8 with a 9th person. Okay. Interesting. No, Benji, but if there is, we'll put you on it, bro. So Frank, let me ask you, do you think this is the better way to do it? I mean, dude, Ray couldn't have had better timing. 4 owners. Do you think 4 owners, 2 GMs, and 2 players, kind of, I don't know, maybe necessarily supervised, but by 1 league staff is the right way to do it? Or did you like it better when Cam did it? Or did you like it better when it was more of a vote-in popularity contest?
In my opinion, to tell you the truth, I think all 3 ways should be weighed in. A popularity vote, a percentage-wise, an owner's vote, percentage-wise, and then Cam, maybe have the final say on a tiebreaker or something like that. One of the questions I had, and I asked it earlier, was that when somebody, does an owner nominate their player, or do they go strictly just off the stats and you get certain values for each stat or whatever? Does an owner get to nominate the player, and then if their player is nominated, do they vote, or they have to abstain from voting for their own player?
So unless I missed something, I did not submit anything for San Diego saying I think these people should be all-stars. I didn't receive a DM or see anything in the owner's channel. This is my first season being an owner, so maybe I missed it. I don't know. But I didn't see anything because, I mean, fuck, I would have fought for, 6 or 8 people on my team, which I'm sure every owner would do, right? Nacho, yeah, go ahead, Frank.
I'm not just saying this because it's ACA, but I just feel like with the way our defense played, especially down the stretch, the last 4 or 5 games, I was a little disappointed that there's no defensive players on there.
Before I move to Fox, do you see any names on here that you agree or disagree? Like say, oh yeah, for sure, 100%, this person's an all-star, or somebody that should have been here instead of someone else?
For sure, an all-star. First name that kind of popped out on me was Doug Britton.
Oh yeah. We felt the wrath of that, unfortunately, one game this season as well. Real Fox, before I get your opinion on this real quick, your take. Nacho in the chat said the only actual snubs, in my opinion, are Johnny and Dunhill. Take Dynasty out for Pickler and take Tyree out for Dunhill. Now, you are a teammate of Johnny, so obviously you're going to be in his corner and say he should be there anyway. We're going to talk stats on some of these players here in a couple minutes anyway, but give me your take. Number one, the same question I asked Frank, what system do you like the best? And number 2, what jumps out at you as you look at this West roster?
I think that as far as the system, this system probably works best than the other 2, just because when it was a vote, like you said, popularity contest. And as far as I can gather, the reason Cam doesn't do it anymore is because he's just too busy.
Right.
And there wouldn't be an all-star game anymore if Hacker and the committee didn't do something about it. There just wouldn't be one. So props to him for one thing for keeping it going. And if this is the way that they plan on doing it, then I have no problem with that. As far as on this list, as you said, Nacho said, Marcus Dunhill not being on there is kind of, I kind of question that a little bit. But not Cam Curtis, Chris Curtis not being on there, that's another one I noticed was absent. I'm not going to say there's anybody on there who doesn't deserve it, because I think everybody does. Who's on there at least has an argument for it. I don't want to take anything away from any of them, but as far as the snubs, I think they're the two that jump out at me.
Real quick, I want to apologize. So when we get to breaking down games, every game that we break down, we're gonna do a quick 1 or 2 question interview with someone. So my apologies right now to Brett Killian, Greg Soto, Johnny Pickler, and Harish, because we are way behind schedule. So I'm sorry that you have to keep waiting. If you have to bounce before we get to you, DM me and I'll see if I can shuffle some things around. Nate. Oh, actually, Bullet Boletsky, I think all the controversial picks should duel with all the snubs to the death. It's the only fair way to do it. What system do you like the best, and what do you think about this West roster, Nate?
I don't know.
Oh, hey, Nacho, time to take out the trash, bro.
I stopped watching other leagues' all-star games because it turned into a popularity contest, right? Like the NBA, the NFL, they all put whoever was most popular in at the time, and didn't really go by what they did on the field or what they did on the court, and didn't go by the stats and how well they did during games. And if it doesn't matter how well they performed, then what does it matter? I just don't think it matters. It in my book, that should matter to why they're in the All-Star game instead of being a popularity contest.
I agree with Crazy Canuck, by the way, real quick. Fan voting ruined All-Star games. I agree, because the cities like LA, like the Dodgers, all you do is you just stuff the ballot with, because we have the more people to vote. I agree with that. What do you see on this list?
On the list, personally, I would take Jay-Z Bacon out and replace him with Ezekiel Love. I think Love has more total yards as far as rushing and receiving together, 1,868 total yards between the two. They are both tied with 17 total touchdowns apiece between receiving and rushing. Yes, Jay-Z Bacon's average is higher. However, in my eyes, Love's total yardage makes up for that, and he was a workhorse for that offense over in Portland.
Fucking Bo Martin Jr., he's like, what's Love got to do with it? Heyo, attaboy.
Heyo. But yeah, I think Love really got snubbed, though, in this list.
Okay, Tyler, you get the last word on this. In addition to me asking you which system you like the best, and then you can tell me what jumps out on you the page, do you think there's another system we could use that could work even better?
No, I actually really like what Frank put out is, a commissioner vote, a ownership vote, and a community vote. All three, I think, need to be tallied, weighted, and then combined into a mix, right? So we have a community vote where we have some media heads like yourself and myself, and we have some good upstanding members of the community be part of maybe the weighted side of the community, but we also have a popular vote, right? Because a lot of our community is smart. A lot of our community is very knowledgeable in football and very knowledgeable in how statistics rank, right? But what I think gets lost in the wind is the impact that certain players have on the field. And I'm already going to go into my biggest snub of what I think is the entirety of the cornerback core, and it's Dante Jordan. I think he got snubbed. No, he didn't have a single interception, but he had the most sacks by any defensive back by 2. He had 4 total sacks in his rookie career.
Your mic was going in and out. Who did you say? I didn't even hear that.
Jonte Jordan
Jonte
from Mexico
Jordan.
City, rookie cornerback.
Okay.
4 sacks. The next closest DB had 2. Yes, he didn't have any interceptions. Yes, he didn't have, so eye-popping stats. But he certainly made an impact this season, which, I'm giving him a gold star in my opinion because of what he was able to do. As far as everything goes, there are names on here that like Zeke that could and should deserve a spot on here. There are names on here that got on here. I see they tried to get at least one member from each team onto the All-Star game. So
I'm sorry,
my
Tyler.
biggest-
I'm sorry. I think people mess up their words in the chat on purpose sometimes. Beaumont just said this will be the fist all night show, and then he corrected it to first all night show, so that's going to be a bullet point already. Thanks a lot, Bo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tyler, but there's some things I can't help but laugh at.
It's okay. Bo will join me down here in the deep hole I've already made for myself with how many bullet points that Bullet has made for me.
Well, I mean, we're going to go around one more time, so collect your thoughts there that I interrupted, and then we can bring them back out. We don't need to go into a lot of more question on this. With the East, I just want to know more like, who do you think was worthy? Who are your snubs? But also Benji Matson had an interesting idea. How would the community feel about not even having an all-star game played, but instead do like when we were little, the NBA all first team, second team, third team, that kind of stuff. You don't have an all-star game, but everybody gets some sort of recognition. So answer that question and then tell me how you feel about the East roster. And Frank, I'll start with you.
Which one am I answering first? About the
about Ben? Yeah, just about Ben. I mean, you could go either way, but Benji's question probably first. Or comment.
That's kind of how we do, and I think it's done this way all over the country as far as how we select our district, first team district, second team district, and all that, all state and everything like that. And that goes back to the nominating thing I was talking about earlier. You nominate somebody, if they don't make first team, they're not voted on, and for the first team, they bump down to the second team. If they're not voted there, then they get honorable mention. But you can't go and like nominate your whole team. But you gotta be able to nominate people that are worthy, stat wise and how they are with the community and in the locker room and things like that. As far as the East all-star team, I like the fact that France and Prococo are representing the tight ends. Those are 2 very good picks right there. I'm kind of stunned that Baltimore only has 2 people represented.
Really? Right there. Irvin and stacking paper. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured there would be more. Their defensive line. Where's Mack, the linebacker? Alvin Mack. Where's he at? I thought, that guy is a ball hawk. He's picking the ball up and scoring just about, every other game. That kind of surprised me that he wasn't on there.
Cliff Allen had an interesting comment too. There will always be snubs no matter what the system is. Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. I mean, there's always going to be more good players, Fox, in a league than you have all-star spots. And I get that part. I'm talking about the snubs of the snubs, right? I think that's kind of what we get down to. But what do you think about Benji's idea? And then tell me what you think about this East roster.
I like Benji's idea. I think it sounds pretty good. Having a first, second, third team, I think it kind of suggests that fewer asses get chapped over not getting in to some kind of recognition, but you're still going to have some people get butthurt about it and complain to whoever will listen. But I think that it includes more people that way, and possibly a way of there being fewer controversies out there. As far as the East, I'm going to say Johnny, and I've got a very damn good point of that he was snubbed. He is an MVP candidate. He's been talked about at least half the season for being an MVP candidate. So being an MVP candidate, how do you keep him out of the All-Star game? It doesn't make any sense.
Nate, let me ask you this. I'm going to throw another question on because, we're only an hour in and we're not even halfway done with the show yet.
Hey,
In addition to Benji's idea, real quick, Fox just made an interesting point. Made me think: does not making the All-Star team now hurt Johnny's MVP chances?
I don't know.
Or anybody else?
Maybe.
And let me say, he brought up Johnny, but I mean anybody else that's a snub that we think is All-Star or MVP caliber that didn't make the All-Star game. Would it hurt their chances of being an MVP if you don't even make the All-Star game?
They're definitely not in the direct side of, hey, they're on that list, right? You forget about that player for a little while, and sure, you forget about him for a space of a few days, and when time rolls around to vote for these players, oh yeah, that other player over here was on the All-Star team. I remember, I remember Dynasty. Why not vote for him for MVP? And then that might be why Johnny gets left out of the MVP voting.
Well,
So,
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead and finish.
I was gonna say that could be why. I could definitely see that happening.
What do you think about this roster right here? This East roster.
Tell me how this happens. I'm kind of on board with Frank. How does Baltimore only get 2 in? And I'm gonna say, what about Mac Chima? I know Irvin's in there, but Mac Chima was another good wide receiver for that team in my eyes as well. Those two are a dual threat for that team, and he should have been in as well. But for a team that's only won 3 games all season long, Motor City V8s, they get 4 players in, and none of them, if you're gonna play the popularity vote, Guy Clausen isn't even on that list.
That's a great point.
Where's Guy Clausen?
And he even moved to wide receiver, right? Didn't he play wide receiver this season instead of tight end?
Yeah, he's wide receiver.
Yeah.
Kaufman made it before Guy Clausen did.
Wide receiver is probably the toughest or second toughest position.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, still, if you're gonna play, if you're gonna include the popularity vote, like Tyler and like Frank is saying, then Kaufman should be left out and Guy Clausen should be put in, and put Guy Clausen in the All-Star game.
If it's a popularity vote, right?
Yeah, if it's a popularity vote.
Right. Okay, so Tyler, last word on this, and we're going to start breaking down the wild card games, but let me ask you a different angle on this. I DM'd with somebody today talking about how ACA kind of got snubbed. And it wasn't even an ACA person I was talking to. And they only got one person, I think, Thick and Juicy, right? It was the only person who made it in, if I'm not mistaken. And I told him, I said, well, here's the thing. Even when we were Lone Star and I was with Lone Star and, me, Charles, and Soto and everybody over there, we didn't have a lot of all-stars back then either because we were so balanced, right? Is that the problem for some of these teams like a Baltimore, that they're just so balanced, nobody's stats are jumping off the page and have to say, hey, he's an all-star?
So, first of all, I feel like Nate and you were like grilling me, maybe indirectly or directly for
what?
For that last.
No, I wasn't grilling
5
you.
minutes.
Wait,
I wasn't grilling.
Wait, grilling. Wait,
Tyler. Yeah,
grilling.
Third spot. Tyler has to start yelling and grilling.
Wait.
I wasn't grilling. I was just being passionate about what my point was. I'm sorry if
that's the third spot. That's the power of the third spot.
That's just third base,
you're doing
baby.
very well.
You got the hot corner, baby. The hot corner.
Exactly. That's why I love that corner so much. Anywho, no, you make a really good point, Dave. I'm trying to remember the point because we went off on that tangent with Nate. Maybe someone in chat can bring up the point. But obviously, as far as how the East looks, it does look, and arguably a very good argument for Johnny Pickler to be on the list, be a part of the All-Star category. But I think what others could argue is the fact that without Robert Merrill, Johnny is not able to have the kind of season that he does. And it goes back, here's the point that you were looking for, Dave. a more balanced attack from London. Yes, Johnny had a spectacular season, but you look at Robert Merrill being one of the best running backs in the league and yet having a second straight season with 1,000+ rushing yards. You take a look at that London team from where they are 2 seasons prior when it's just Johnny having to make all the tough throws, where Robert Merrill isn't involved in the running game. And that team is struggling to get into the postseason, where now they're more or less controlling their own fate, controlling their way into the postseason, and controlling their own division, which makes it so easy.
So don't you think that same argument, though, could be made for both AJ and Dynasty with their running backs actually making the All-Star game?
And very much so. And it just goes back again, where certain categories have different attributes, right? Dynasty, solid quarterback on his own. DDG offers up something that Dynasty can't. And yes, you could argue very well where Pickler and Merrill should be on the same side. You look at all 5 of those picks there for London: Kalia, Frosby, Davidson, Russell. Who do you take off to get Johnny Pickler on? There is a limit, it looks like, of just 5 members for a team. Who do you take off that list to get Johnny a spot?
Yeah, what is? I'm looking. It's Dynasty. Who's the other quarterback? Oh, Pierce.
Pierce.
Yeah, so I'm looking at
Pierce of Indy.
Yeah, I'm looking at that thing that Johnny posted. It's interesting that this is. Are we all? Do we all think that Johnny's the biggest snub? Is that what we're talking so much about him, or is it just because he was the loudest?
It's not just us. It's Chad. It's Discord as well, and they all have a good argument for that. And if I know anyone who's on that panel, which few have confided in me that they are part of the panel, but I will not reveal names.
That's fine. We wouldn't expect you to. It's fine.
Right. Confidentiality reasons. But it was certainly not a popularity contest. Who made the biggest impact? Who had some of the best stats? There was averages taken. There was who made the biggest. It just is tough to pick a roster of the best players in this league, put them on a sheet, and give them to people and say, hey, this is who we have. Because you're not going to please everybody. There are going to be certain snubs.
I wonder, and you don't have to answer this, but I wonder, in Johnny's case, could it be an unpopularity contest? That's another.
Certainly not. From what I heard from the committee, he was like the playoffs. There's the last teams in, the first 3 out, or reverse that for March Madness or something like that. But okay. It's tough. It was tough to pick both Pierce and Dynasty for the East. It was hard to leave Johnny off of this, and it was in no part, from what I'm being told, any slight against him or his credibility, because he's a good player and he's a good dude. He'll be Y2J all day long, but everywhere else, I have had the utmost pleasure of talking with him outside of his persona. And he's a great dude, down to earth, loves his kids, solid person on the outside. But it's something that he won't show you here in the league.
So real quick, we're gonna move on to breaking these games down. People love to hate him, so I'd say he would get in. Says Nacho. It's where'd it go? Somebody just Soto. So they're the 12th seed with only one All-Star. Like he needed even more bulletin board material as he game plans in Sims. That'll be funny. Soto will be on in a little bit, as well as Johnny. Johnny will be on as well. I'm sure he'll have something to say when he gets on here. Brett Killian, Harish, and Jeremy Vega all waiting patiently, and I thank them for that, as this show is way off the rails, especially as it goes with timing. All right, Frank, in a couple minutes, or with only a couple minutes now, break down this Indianapolis, Vancouver. Vancouver wins another first-round home game like they always do. And tell me, as you break the game down, let us know if you were surprised by this outcome or if you thought it was going to go a different way.
I'll go quick. So Brett, wake up. Get ready.
Get ready, Brett Killian.
well, Vancouver hosting Indianapolis. And I believe this is Indianapolis' first playoff game, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So Vancouver, started off. It was a very exciting game for about 2.5 quarters. You had, Redford punching it in with a rushing TD to start it off. Yeah, Indianapolis striking back with a Jay Viper long touchdown, and it became a slugfest after that. And Vancouver field goal. Indianapolis wasted no time again. They ended up taking the lead on another Viper touchdown. Viper only had 3 catches in his playoff debut, but made the most of them with 2 touchdowns and 60 yards receiving. With not much time left in the first half, for some reason, the Ramblers left Brett Killian wide open for a long TD. That gave the Legion the lead right before half. The second half started off with a bang. Indianapolis still not shaken by falling behind. Kanye Rockefeller takes the opening second half kickoff back for a touchdown, putting the Ramblers in the lead. On 3rd and goal from the 5, Christian Brown, he threads the needle, finds Killian for his second TD, and puts Vancouver in the lead, which ends up being the lead for good. Christian Brown finished with 363 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The offensive story was a lot about Killian, but more about Robert Redford, in my opinion. Robert Redford touched the ball 38 times out of the 72 plays.
Ooh.
That's over 50%. I think it's like 52, 53%.
Yeah.
Had 17 carries for 75 yards, 19 catches for 65 yards. Vancouver blocks a punt at midfield. Christian Brown hits Killian again on what probably is the best play of the day. He threads the needle for a second time, but this time it's through 4 Indianapolis defenders, and Killian catches the ball and scores. Killian finished with 6 catches, 117 yards, and 3 touchdowns, as I mentioned. Major Key, Mark Lopez both had interceptions, and chance to win was perfect on the night with 3 field goals and 4 extra points. For the Ramblers, it's not what they wanted the outcome to be, but played valiantly, like I said, for about 2.5 quarters. Colin Pierce had 294 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Christian Pierce was non-existent. He had 11 rushing yards on 7 carries. Viper had 2 TDs, but it was Ryan Roosevelt with 8 catches for 86 yards that leads the team. And then Kanye Rockefeller led the team in tackles, plus that kickoff return for a touchdown. When Kanye took that return to the house, some people may have started to think that Vancouver was going to be in yet another early exit, but instead, dwelling on what happened, they rallied all 17 unanswered points. A Randy Pierce late touchdown catch pulled the Ramblers within 10, but unable to capitalize on the onside kick. Vancouver was able to move on to the next round with this win.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to bring Brett Killian on the program, I think, for the very first time, if I'm not mistaken. Brett, how you doing, buddy?
Oh man, you're bringing the main event here so early into this show. Are you kidding me?
So early.
You can't leave you can't leave the best for last. No,
Sorry,
I'm so happy
bro.
to be here, Dave.
Sorry, bro.
So
I need you in the midpoint to help keep my ratings up. That's what it was.
Yeah, I got you.
Plus,
That's all
Tyler paid me enough money for his buddy to be on the show. So you know how that goes.
Yeah, that turncoat that decided chose Indy over us. I'm gonna kick his ass in Cincy. That's all I know.
Hey,
I'm giving you half the room up over in Cincy. You be a little bit more generous. No.
Hey, Brett,
Good to hear you, partner.
Brett, I'm going to ask you a quick question, then Tyler's going to ask you a question. My question is just something very simple. First of all, I want to congratulate you on ownership that you got earlier in the season or in the offseason with Vancouver. And also just, you've had a phenomenal season. You had a phenomenal wild card game. But my question to you, and you know what, Tyler and I probably should have compared notes beforehand. I hope I don't steal his thunder. What do you think it's going to take for Vancouver to get over that second round hump now that you've gotten Indianapolis out of the way?
Well, the main thing is that, us 3 owners, myself, Michael, and Andy, we've really put our heads together and just said, you know what, we need to figure out what usually goes wrong in that second game of the playoffs, whether it's just, could it be just, we're playing different teams from, say, the first game to the second, and that honestly is potentially what we're going to be seeing against Fort Worth, because when we saw Indianapolis, a great passing game, but didn't have a great running game, which is why we limited Christian Pierce to 11 yards that game. And now we might be seeing something a little bit different because JZ Bacon has that potential of being, that 150 all-purpose yard kind of guy and 2
Right.
touchdowns.
Right.
But there's also, Marcus Dunhill. Do we need to say anything more about him and about that wide receiver core? And Fort Worth probably has my favorite wide receiver core in the league, with Hacker and Stevens as probably one of the best underrated duos of the league. Nobody talks about them quite enough. We're talking about 2 1,000-yard receivers here that we got to keep in check. So our number one defense definitely has to show up here. And really, it was a great test to see against Indianapolis by limiting Banfield and limiting Roosevelt to basically being non-factors. And we hope to do
that
it
was
again
pretty
this coming week.
That was actually pretty tremendous. Tyler, did I steal your
You've
thunder?
obviously, I can work with it, Dave. Don't you worry. Brett, as my broadcast partner throughout these last couple of seasons and for much more in the future, you've obviously done your homework, as I know you would have, even in a game you won't be able to call this weekend. I want to give you a few more stats for you, and then I'll ask you a question. So you have played Fort Worth 3 times, twice in the playoffs. All 3 of those games have been at home, and you guys have won all 3 games. This will be the first time you will play Fort Worth on the road. And I think you made a good point where Fort Worth is going to have something a little bit different. They're going to have Bacon able to maybe put up the 100 all-purpose, 150 all-purpose yards, but they still have another good passing attack. Will it simply be enough for Vancouver to get that second win by just solely neutralizing Fort Worth's passing attack?
Well, for me, I'm not only looking at neutralizing their passing game, but they have to neutralize ours. Look at their stat line; they are second to last in passing yards against per game. They allow over 300 yards per game, and this could potentially be a trap for Christian Brown. But if you have any opportunity to play against a team with that focuses less on the passing game, is more worried about turnovers, you can kind of play into that system a little bit more and start changing it up a little bit, just enough so that when Fort Worth isn't ready, they can you can kind of hit them with these jabs left and right here. And the goal here is especially over the last couple of weeks, you saw our Legion team kind of being a little bit disappointing offensively. I mean, come on, 9 points against Portland. We had 9 points against Atlanta in week 3. You're so used to seeing a Vancouver team with 40 plus points. It isn't a far cry long ago where we put up 76 points against Houston here. It was season 15, 76-13. And that's it. We want to get back to being kind of that offensive weapon, but also having that elite defense. We're a number 1 defense for a reason here, and we want to show against Fort Worth. And right now, I think right now in my head, it could be a slugfest in the passing game, but we feel at least that our secondary, I think we have the advantage over that, and that could have us, tip the scales a little bit to our favor, even on the road.
Frank, do you have a question for Brett before we wrap this up?
My question was, with you scoring the 3 touchdowns and being a main target for Christian Brown.
Are you sure?
Well, if teams take you away, who's the next person to step up?
Who has it been all season? That's my follow-up question to that. Who has it been all season? It's Chris Curtis. He's the guy that's been the threat all season. He's our lone 1,000-yard receiver. And after that, did you see the second half of Justice Blackwell's season? He ended up getting more targets than me at the end of the season. I think we have a trio of receivers that that can kind of be slept upon. I think we have because I have that track record of being such a prolific receiver and being in the league long enough that people identify with me. Number 1, you got to focus on him. It's going to leave Curtis and it's going to leave Blackwell open, and Blackwell has caught so many deep passes over the last couple weeks that have, broken leads open for us and gotten those big victories. So really, I think, Curtis is probably the first look, then it's me, and then it's Blackwell. And don't be surprised, if this game Justice Blackwell gets, a nice 95 100-yard performance and gets 2 touchdowns out of it.
Well, Brett, I want to thank you for being patient with us tonight, as we are like a half an hour over time. And thanks for coming on the show for the first time. Love to have you back. If you guys can get over that hump in the second round, I'd love to have you back next week. I'd ask Andy, but he never responds to my DMs, so it's gonna have to be you, bro.
No, Andy's particularly angry this whole week, and I don't know why. I gave him his pills this week. I don't know what's going on, but maybe he's a little bit overstressed to the fact that it's playoff game number 2, and he wants to get that monkey off his shoulder. But I appreciate being here, Dave, and I hope to be here next week.
Yeah, be great. All right, good luck in your game against my boy Nacho over there in Fort Worth.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, let's have some fun, Nacho. Let's have some fun, Hacker.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Brett Killian, ladies and gentlemen, wide receiver, co-owner for Vancouver, as they take care of Indianapolis in the wild card, 37-27, and now as a reward get to travel to Fort Worth to take on that offense over there. Moving on to game number 2 from the wild card, and Fox, I got to tell you, I love me some ACA. Those are my boys over there. I love that franchise. But even I was a little surprised at the dominance. Now, I missed all the games this weekend. As everybody knows, I was out of town. But I just looked at the score, and then I watched the highlights. And, bro, it was just one-sided the whole way. Break it down for us, and then we're going to bring Soto on.
Well, you are absolutely right. It was one-sided, and it shocked the hell out of me, too. I believe on ACA's first drive, they kicked a field goal and didn't relinquish the lead the entire game. They led 10-0 at halftime. Minnesota kicked a field goal in the second half to bring it to a 7-point game, but then ACA continued to shut them down. Minnesota had, I believe, Johnny Reno had 268 passing yards in that game, but he also threw 6 interceptions. 2 to Rain Real, 2 to Gunny, and 2 to Albert Begin. They didn't have a running game at all. Colin Hart ran 13 times for 13 yards.
Wow.
ACA, in the meantime, Ace Finnick had 161 passing yards. He did have 3 interceptions, but he also had a touchdown to Ziggy Ronick. And Brad Jones, he had 92 yards on the ground with a rushing touchdown. Really, ACA, they had a good defensive plan. Minnesota did what they usually do. They spread the ball around quite a bit. They had 5 receivers over 40 yards. I think Jay Viper was their top yard getter with 76, I think. And they do what they did best, but ACA was ready for it. And they came away with the very shocking 12 over a 5 that you usually see in the NCAA tournament.
There you go. Exactly. That's actually a good way to wrap that up. Let me bring in my boy Greg Soto, 6.9% owner or something like that, as well as head coach for ACA. Greg, what's up, bro?
Hey, man, what's going on?
How you been, man? It's been a minute since we talked.
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just actually watching your show and running some sims.
That's perfect. I mean, I'm way ahead of schedule. Would you want to shoot the shit for a few minutes to catch up while everybody else just waits around? Bro, let me ask you this, man. Listen, when we were all together over there at LSG, and I don't know if you heard what we talked about the All-Star game, but balance was our key, right? I mean, it's our quarterback, it's our halfback, it's our receivers, it's our tight ends, and, in all 3 levels of the defense. Is that still ACA's philosophy, or do you feel like you're more of a defensive team this season all of a sudden?
Well, defensive definitely has gotten stronger as the season's gone on, but the mentality's still there. Like I always tell the guys in the ownership chat and in the coaches chat, I don't care if my player catches a damn ball. I really don't care. And that's kind of like the mentality that I try to tell Ace, and Ace has had a hard time this year with interceptions, but he understands. He still gets it. He still gets what we're trying to do. And hell, I mean, as a head coach, I don't want that guy to throw too many interceptions, but he understands, hey, if we're in the playoffs and we're winning, Ace is the type of quarterback, and
Yeah.
he goes, I'll throw 3 interceptions every damn game if we're winning the game.
Exactly. W's over stats, right?
Right. So, when it comes to, and it's something I put in Gen Chat too, man. I mean, for me, I've been, I think, in the league for like 5-6 seasons. I've never been an all-star, and I'm fine if I am or not. My all-star game is going to the playoffs with my team, whatever that is. Like, for me, that's every all-star game. I mean, that to me, being with my team, and being able to go into the playoffs, that to me is above and beyond, any single player accolades that I could get as a player on the field. So, but yeah, the mentality's still the same, man. It doesn't matter how we win, how we do it. But yeah, man, this week we just I told Albert on Monday, right when the week started, I said I want a low scoring, ugly game. That's what I want, and I couldn't believe that the AI gods gave it to me.
Once in a while. I mean, these guys are pretty unpredictable, but you get it once in a while. Tyler, what do you got for Soto?
Yeah, what
Hey,
do you have for
Soto.
me, Tyler?
So for first off, Greg, sad Minnesota noises. Kudos to you and kudos to Alamo City, being the lowest seed, taking on Minnesota, and who's the number 5 seed, the highest seed you had faced up to this point. Done a tremendous job, showing why Lone Star was in the title game not too long ago. You guys now have an extremely tough test and have to play the hottest team of the season. You've shown you can prove it in beating Minnesota in Minnesota, who had only lost 1 home game to that point. Now you have to go into an even more fearsome environment in the Hive and try and take down the Atlanta Swarm. My big question to you is, you already mentioned it, Ace Fennec has had struggles with the turnovers just a little bit, but it's been okay when he's been on. The biggest question to you guys is, even with your huge output of interceptions, with 6 interceptions from the defense, you guys were the last in terms of team total takeaways before that. What's it going to take to beat Atlanta, and have you over game plan for Minnesota when looking ahead to Atlanta?
We didn't gonna over plan. One thing that Dave might even tell you from his time when we were together, I'm not one that I'm good now, and I'm very conscious of not over coaching and going down the fucking rabbit hole. Because as anybody that coaches knows that one bad sim could send you down spiraling. So I catch myself, and when something looks good, it looks good. So we were, and nothing against Minnesota, we were just confident in our scouting. Frank and James and myself and Albert, we were confident in our scouting and what we had done. We our playbook for Minnesota was done on Thursday. It was done. Now I did some more sims, but really nothing changed for when we played Minnesota as of Thursday. Right now, yeah, we are playing a different beast. They're a little bit more explosive than Minnesota. I said, and it was almost true. I said Minnesota is going to beat us. If they're going to beat us, it's going to be death by a million short and medium routes to Jason France, and we need to stop that. So that was the game plan. I didn't know we were going to get 6 interceptions. I knew we were going to get a few, but yeah, going into Atlanta, I feel that even already on Tuesday, I feel that we're trending in the right direction in our sims and our game planning. They are a better, they are a better built team. The reason why they are the number 1 seed. Sims are looking close. myself and the other coaches, we have a little bit more work to do, but I like what I'm seeing so far. Again, to give us a chance.
Fox, you got the last question for Soto.
What's up, Greg? It's been a long time, buddy.
Hey, man, what's going on?
So, I got to know how much did, if any at all, did the Sioux Falls, Minnesota Week 14 game factor into anything that you planned? Did Sioux Falls expose anything for you about Minnesota?
A little bit, and I almost want to say, yeah, a little bit. I mean, our scouting, Frank does a hell of a job. I give him kudos because I always thought that, being with Freddie Trammell and having him scout, I didn't think there was going to be anybody that was going to be able to fill Freddie's shoes. And Frank, Frank has done a hell of a job scouting. Everything that Frank put together in that game and in a few other games that he scouted as well, and some things that I saw definitely helped out in seeing a couple of weaknesses that Minnesota had. And we knew that, look, and I said it to the team too, and I said it to the coaches, and we're playing with house money. And to be honest with you, that's how I feel going into this week too. And for the rest of the playoffs, however long we're in it, we're playing with house money. We're the 12th seed. We're not supposed to be even in here. We got in. We did beat Houston, and then we got some help from Fort Worth. We really shouldn't be in here, but we are. So it is a different environment. We're playing with house money, and I'm trying to make the best of it. And no matter who we play, I do feel that the pressure's on them and not on us. We're the 12th seed. Who cares about us? So I'm letting that play out. I do believe that all the pressure is on the number one team after seeing our performance against Minnesota at Minnesota this past week. But yeah, going back to your question, that game, their last game did play a factor in it. We did see some weaknesses. Frank and James Troll found some weaknesses in their game, and that's what we tried to exploit. And we were a little bit aggressive, but and we felt that was the way to go. So that's what happened there.
It worked.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, the seedings might be 12-1, but for me they're 2-3. My second favorite team and my third favorite team. You guys could have saved this for the championship. Might have been a little better, but I'm pulling for you. If you guys don't pull it out, I still got Atlanta to fall back on, I guess, like a survivor pick or something. But good luck this week. Congrats, bro, on making the playoffs. We were right there with you. That was some crazy tie-breaking Week 14 shit. But
yeah, that was crazy.
I'm glad. If we didn't get in, I'm glad you guys got in. So good luck. Take it to them, bro. And then maybe we'll have you back next week if you guys get it done.
All right. Oh, and before I get my hand slapped, congrats to my all-star fullback, Thick and
Juicy. All right.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Soto, 6.9% owner of Lone Star and head coach for the last several seasons. That's going to be do you guys? Being the 12 going to the 1, that's got to be one of the toughest matchups I think that you're going to see in the playoffs. All right, we're at our intermission, about a half an hour late, but we're going to bring on my main man Gunny. Check out Gunny's Fire Watch week to week, telling us who's on fire and who to watch. Gunny, how you doing tonight, buddy? What's up?
I'm good. Is the show almost over? We're just halfway there.
Well, here we go. So after you, Nate's going to break down the Las Vegas London game. We're going to have Johnny on. Then we've got Tyler breaking down the Tulsa, Carolina game. We'll bring Harish on. Then I got Jeremy Vega to do the owner's box interview. Then we've got Divas of the Week. And then we got Pick'em. So we might get out of here by midnight.
All right, I'll make sure I keep my pillow handy just in case.
Perfect. All right, bro. What do you got for us tonight?
Well, I was going to go over all the I was going to get the bronze, silver, and gold medals for the stats for quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, kickers, punters, and defensive players. But since we're just running just a tad behind, I'm just going to go over some all-star All-Star facts.
Okay. All right. Music's queued up. It's all you, buddy.
All right, congratulations to all the All-Stars selected this season. The All-Star coaches for the East side, we have Gino McFly from the Charleston Predators, and from the West side, the very own Alamo City, Garrison Blue. There are 36 All-Stars per side. The East has 14 players from the North, 10 from the East, and the Atlantic represents 6. On the South side, on the West side, on the Western Conference, the South has 10 representatives, the West has 14, the Pacific has 8. The Central Division got split up because it's supposed to be the Atlantic, the North, and the East make up the East side, but the Central got split up. Indy and Minnesota belong to the East. Tulsa and Sioux Falls belong on the West side. Indy got 3 in, Minnesota got 3 in, Tulsa 2, and Sioux Falls 2. Every team is represented in the All-Star game. The teams with only one person on each team: Alamo City, Carolina, DC Dragons, Denver, Seattle, and Tulsa. The teams with 2 representatives: Baltimore, Charleston, Florida, Jacksonville, Houston, Louisiana, Mexico City, Portland, Queen City, and Vancouver. That's 10 teams. There was 6 teams with 1. There is 5 teams with 3: Canton, Indianapolis, Los Angeles, Minnesota, and Sioux Falls. There's 4 teams with 4: Atlanta, Las Vegas, Motor City, and San Diego. And there are 3 teams with 5: Arizona, Fort Worth, and London. Again, I'd like to congratulate all the selected All-Star, and of course, my favorite All-Star is my Alamo City teammate. Just like Greg Soto said, fullback, thick and juicy. Just a quick shout-outs to some other people. To my Indianapolis Ice teammates that also play in the SFL: Mac Dre, Indianapolis; Nacho Sicario, Fort Worth; Slim Shady, Louisiana; and K-Shad, I believe he was previously with Las Vegas. Also, special thanks to Jack Wall. He knows why. And also thanks to Ramos Lynn and Mark Lopez for the broadcast call of the Alamo City, Minnesota Wild Card game. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck and best wishes to everyone playing this weekend. Let's go Alamo City. Dave, that is all.
All right, Gunny, thank you so much. Gunny's Fire Watch, ladies and gentlemen. Week to week, Gunny coming on the program, telling us who's on fire and who to watch. I'm actually, so Johnny, I was supposed to be on a different schedule tonight, obviously, but because I'm so far behind, I haven't heard back from Johnny yet. Johnny's actually at work. He took some time. He took a break, and then when he came, he pinged me. We were not even close to being ready. So I haven't heard back from him. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm actually going to scratch this for 1 second, and I'm going to Johnny's, he is. He just popped in. All right, perfect. All right, so Nate, let's break down this Vegas-London game. London doubling them up 34-17. Johnny with 4 touchdowns. And again, I missed all the games, but I saw the highlights and saw the stats. Break this down for us.
Yeah, so Las Vegas, Eric Price, the quarterback, didn't play a terrible game per se. He got 2 touchdown passing, only 1 interception. Problem is he got sacked 4 times. 2 of those sacks came by way of Selwyn Lane from London. So he was on his back way too much, and not in a good way.
Heyo.
It was 17-10, London's lead by halftime. London went on to score 10 in the third quarter. Made it 27-10 starting the fourth. Each team traded touchdowns, and there you had your total. I do have to say, however, that despite Eric Price not having a terrible game, with the 2 passing and 1 interception. It's tough to be a quarterback who is perfect, like Johnny Pickler was in this game, quarterback rating wise. He had a perfect quarterback rating of 154.
Wow.
21 of 28, 334 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. 77-yard touchdown to Van Kalia. Kalia and Fox Highland both went over 100 yards in the game. The longest reception for Highland was a 41-yard touchdown. And on Kalia's and Highland's touchdowns, they were both on plays where the Vegas defense was nowhere to be seen. I'm telling you, they were so wide open. My 13-year-old son could have gone out there and caught those balls. And he is in 7th grade and in band playing a clarinet, hasn't played a day of football in his life. So that's how wide open they were, not within 20 yards of those players. And basically all they had to do was catch any kind of balls out their direction. Easy to catch, and just ran it the rest of the way. No one was going to catch them for Kalia and for Fox Highwind.
Hey.
Yeah,
No,
so that's pretty much the gist of it. Yeah.
Hey, I forgot to mention earlier, and I'm sorry, maybe about an hour ago, David Leathers jumped into the chat, and I forgot to say the man with the best first name. Well, fuck, I fucked that all. Hey, edit this out. Bullet, edit that shit out for later. The man with the best first name in the SFL. My bad. Damn. All right, let's bring Johnny in here for a minute. Johnny, sorry. People tell me to go to bed. All right, sorry we're running so late, bro. There's just a lot of great content on this show tonight. But thanks for making time for us from work and being flexible, man.
Hey, no problem, man. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, we can. So Nate just said you got 154 QBR in this 34-17 win over Vegas. My question is to you, how did you get such a perfect QBR when you're not even an all-star? Too soon? Never mind. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
I'm just playing, bro. We'll get to that in a second. But tell me more about this game. My question to you is this. London, at home, it's great. I haven't even checked the schedule to see who your next game is against, but I'm just assuming you're on the road because you're seeding.
Yeah, we're going to Baltimore.
Oh yeah, okay. So that makes this question probably even worse. But obviously, you guys feel secure at home, right? You guys have been lights out over the last 3 seasons, but it seems to be a different story on the road. Is that a thing that you guys talk about? Is it in your psyche? Is it in the locker room? Road games versus home games, or how are you treating this next playoff game, the second round, the quarterfinal game at Baltimore?
I don't think we're a bad team on the road. I just think we're a fucking amazing team at home. You know, since I've been in Queensway, we're 25-3 at Queensway. And so we are extremely confident, you know, for home games. But every game we walk into, I mean, we feel that we're capable of winning, and you know, we feel like we're the most talented team on the field. It's just about executing and getting it done. So, you know, Baltimore. I'll be completely honest. When it comes to playing Baltimore next week, if there's one team I wouldn't want to draw in the second round, it'd be Baltimore. I think that, and that's no disrespect, maybe a little disrespect to the top 3 seeds, but you know, it's Baltimore who's still, in my mind, you know, the champs, the dynasty, the team to beat until someone can eliminate them.
Agreed.
They're the defending champs, the 3-peaters, and we got to go to their home. I think I beat them twice in my career, but I think they've Jack Wigmore and the crew over there have gotten 3 wins against us, 3 or 4 big ones, and twice have eliminated me from the playoffs. But we're feeling it. We got, you know, the locker room is great. We got good energy. And a lot of emotions right now, you know, with not knowing what's exactly going to be taking place next season. So, you know, we just want to, we know we built something special over here, and we want to take this as far as we can.
I'd have Tyler ask you a question, but Ray's in the chat thinking this show isn't long enough yet. She wants to take a break and make the night even longer. I don't know what's up with that. Tyler, what do you got for Johnny?
Hey, Johnny, good to talk to you again.
What's going on, Tyler?
Hey, so just just of something you made a comment about is the away record. At least this season, it hasn't been all that great. 4 losses all on the road, 2-4 this season. Go back to last season, your only loss during the regular season was on the road, and the team as a whole has only 25% of a win record on the road. Again, not all of it has been with you at the helm. A lot of good things have happened since you've gotten to London, and I expect nothing more but good things to come out of that franchise with you at quarterback. My biggest question to you after you guys stopped Las Vegas, completely took care of business at home in Queensway, you go up against Baltimore, right? It's a completely different team. We've talked, eons about it at this point. When I look at your two teams head to head, I see both teams have a top 10. In most cases, you guys are 1 and 2 right back to back in a lot of categories, points per game. 1 and 5 with London being on top of Baltimore, 17 rushing touchdowns, Baltimore 14 rushing touchdowns. Then I take a look at that defense for both clubs. Baltimore is near top 10 in almost every single category when I see London in the bottom 5. My question to you here, Johnny, is the key to victory to beating Baltimore for London, not for any other team, but for London, is the key to victory a shootout in order for London to beat Baltimore this weekend?
I don't think that's the key to victory. I just want to touch on the fact that you brought up, our defense being, towards the bottom of the league statistically. We have a freak defense. I mean, I think that what a lot of people, I think they misread, team stats when it comes to defense and don't look at the pace of play for different teams. Baltimore's a lot more methodical team. They have long drives, and they keep the other team off the field. I mean, we score quick, we score often, and I have my share of turnovers as well. I mean, the defense is, and when we take big leads, the defense is out there all the time. I think early on in the season, people could have made statements about our defense not looking the same because we were experimenting, with some different packages. But this defense was renowned as a top 3 defense, last year and during our 11-1 season. And I think, the personnel are still in place and they're just as great. And if people don't realize, I think we've kind of sneakily, we're maybe arguably one of the hottest teams in the league. I think we've won 8 out of our last 9 games or something like that. And a lot of that's due to our defense, making big plays at big times. And we have playmakers all over the field on defense. So, people want to sleep on that defense because of, where they look statistically, then, let them do so. But the key to this game is just going to be executing on both sides of the ball. It's not, I don't care if it's a shootout or however, but yes, I mean, we're averaging about 35 points a game. I feel like we need to hit that average to win this game, but if we do what we know we're capable of on offense, and Baltimore and their great coaching staff and great defensive unit over there don't find a way to stymie our offensive attack, then I think they're going to have some trouble because I don't think they're going to surpass us. If we can get 35 points, I don't think they're getting 42 against our defense.
I don't think they're going to get 42 maybe on you, but I also am a little concerned about what Frank the Franchise Wade is talking about in the game chat. Nate, you got the last question to Johnny.
Hey, Johnny, what's going on?
What's going on, Nate?
Hey, not a whole lot. Hey, so being the defensive guy that I am, you guys on defense brought the pressure early and often to Eric Price in your guys' win over Las Vegas. You had Eric Price on his back 4 times. Selwyn Lane sacked him twice. Do you think your guys' D-line, Cam Frosby, Selwyn Lane, and Tony Roberto, among others, is going to have to get back there to the quarterback for Baltimore in order for you guys to come out on top this coming weekend? Is that going to be a major factor for you guys?
Yeah, 100%, man. It just goes to what I was saying, with the answer to that last question. It's like we're going to have to execute in every, portion of the game. The rushing attack, the passing attack, the rush defense, the pressure on the quarterback, secondary, being where they're supposed to be and not being out of place. Everybody's going to have to do their job to overthrow the best team this league has ever seen. You know, the best franchise this team has ever seen, or this league has ever seen, rather. You know, Baltimore's done things that teams didn't think were possible, you know, over the last 5 seasons, and they are who they are for a reason, and they're in the place they are for a reason. So, you know, to think that we can be anything but our best in every facet of the game and still come out with a victory would be pretty ignorant. So yeah, that's going to be huge that the guys continue to get the pressure. And, you know, we have the former defensive player of the year and a bunch of other guys, you know, that are capable of doing that.
Well, Johnny, I want to thank you for coming on. You got any last words before you bounce real quick?
I mean, you were the one who kind of poked me about the All-Star game. If you want me to touch on that,
I just assume you would. I don't know if you heard the show earlier. We talked about it.
No, I didn't. But you can, you know, whatever you want.
I think the synopsis was that you seem to be the biggest snub. There were others, obviously, and we talked about some of them as well. I just figure. If you wanted this platform real quick for a minute, 90 seconds, whatever, you know, to say something or in response to one of the things we talked about earlier, MVP candidate that didn't make the All-Star game. Does that hurt your MVP chances now?
You know, I have for one, I just want to win a championship. If I'm an MVP candidate, you know, that'd be special to me, and I'd be honored. And I think that I would trust the populace of the SFL, you know, a lot more. You know, there's a lot more logic, I think, with the average person than there is the individuals who are, you know, on that committee this year. I think that there's clear bias that was shown, and it is what it is. So, you know, do I think it hurts my MVP chances if the MVP is truly decided by a public vote? No, I think that I trust the people of the SFL to, you know, to go with their heads and their heart, and, you know, and vote for who they think really deserve the award. But yeah, man, you know, do I think was I disappointed when I saw that I wasn't an All-Star when I had one of my best seasons? You know, for sure I was. You know, just because it's absolutely ridiculous. You know, all the arguments that they come up with, you know, that they have to reach for, they're bizarre. They're inconsistent explanations. Like, no one can just point to hard, you know, this is the reason why you weren't. This is, you know, this is the reason. They're everybody has a different maybe explanation. They're drawing, you know, straws to try and come up with you know, something. Hey, we need to make something stick, man, for why this guy wasn't an All-Star, and none of it makes sense at the end of the day. And when you have to try that hard to try and, you know, explain why someone wasn't in an All-Star game, I mean, that right there should clue you in. You know, you could make the argument about, even though I've never heard it for past seasons, you know, but you can, yeah, now I'm hearing the argument that, you know, our teammates play a factor in it. Yeah, I have great fucking teammates. I have 2 great receivers. I have a brilliant running back. I have a good tight end. You know, I take pride in my entire unit, you know. You know, so do the guys who made the All-Star game. They have weapons. You know, Dynasty's had great weapons at the receiving core, and he has a running back that people feel is an MVP candidate himself, and, you know, should be on the cover of 2K24. I hear things about BDG Hollywood all the time. Guy's a Hall of Famer. You know, you look at Colin Pierce, and you have, I mean, he's thrown to Ryan Roosevelt, who, you know, who's near breaking wide receiver records this year, who has MVP candidacy in him. He's thrown to an MVP candidate wide receiver, and that's negating Jeff Banfield. You know, so we all have weapons on our side, but, you know, that the weapon thing may be a good argument if, like, we were all equal. But, you know, and I'm speaking about me, Pierce, and Dynasty, but we're just flat out not equal. You know, their weapons, you know, Dynasty's weapons made him a good quarterback this year. My weapons made me a great quarterback this year. And, you know, Pierce is just an average quarterback who threw the ball a lot. Let's just be honest. I mean, people are just ignoring the facts, and they're trying to dance around it. You know, I think that the majority of people understand. I got more DMs than I ever have, you know, in my life. I didn't expect it, like 40 plus people, you know, saying, hey man, that's BS. I apologize. F the All-Star game. And that's not what I wanted. I didn't want you know, people to say F the All-Star game and this and that. I thought it was something that meant something, you know, that was special, where, you know, but when you do something so biased and so obvious, it's going to make people turn their heads to something that's supposed to be a fun and special day, something that people earn out there. And and I just can't, find the argument, in any way of, how those guys earned it and stuff. So, I mean, like I said, my weapons made me a great quarterback. Statistically, it's undeniable. Like, I blew both those guys out of the water. And, it is what it is. Dynasty was an extremely efficient quarterback. I love efficiency. I pride myself in QBR. Every season, I want to have a good QBR. I've led the league in QBR before, and I've missed the playoff, I've missed the All-Star game because I didn't have the volume, back when I was with Louisiana. I wasn't top 10 in other, top 5 in other categories, I mean, but that dynasty is one thing. He was a very efficient quarterback. He led his team to an 11-1 record. I'm really not going to bash on dynasty too much, even though statistically I still blew him out of the water when it comes to overall statistics. But Pierce is just an average quarterback in this league. I can't even say he's above average. Like, and let's just be honest. Like, all he accomplished was throwing the ball more than anybody else by over 100 attempts. I mean, he was near bottom 10 in the league in completion percentage. So he throws the ball a lot, but he struggles to even complete his passes. I mean, the guy's like 17th or 18th in completion percentage. He's not top 5, I don't think, in any other categories. Maybe touchdowns. He's 5th or 6th because he's thrown a lot. The guy threw more interceptions than touchdowns, 5 more interceptions than touchdowns. I've never seen an all-star quarterback throw 5 more interceptions than touchdowns. His QBR is 12th in the league. He's not top 10 with efficiency as a quarterback. The guy's just an average quarterback. But what got him that seat? Now we'll take it one step further. I think it's bizarre that because I did catch Tyler at the end say something like, I know some of the guys who are on the committee, but I'm not going to say who. Why are we keeping the committee secret? Like, isn't that just bizarre right there, that the committee has to be kept like some type of top secret thing? No, Chad Rowland is on the committee, and his quarterback is Colin Pierce, and that's why Colin Pierce is in there. Like, if I was Colin Pierce, I would be embarrassed to be put up there because my owner put me in there. Like, that's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, if you guys watch that Formula One show on Netflix, that's like the guy who has a seat in the car because his daddy bought the team. It's like, that's like akin to, being that coked out director of marketing, because your family owns the company. It's like that little league, player that fucking sucks, but he's going to be the starting pitcher because his dad's the coach. It's really just embarrassing at the end of the day. And I'll just say it how it is. And then you look at Dynasty, Siege Falco, his owner and GM was also on the committee. So, and Siege just doesn't like me. So, I mean, it's just sad that these are trusted positions, and these guys are supposed to do what's just in the best interest of the league. And I think people want to see me fucking play in the All-Star game. They want to see the best quarterback in the league play in the All-Star game. That you should do what's in the best interest of the league. And if you can't, you just can't help yourself. But with your emotional bias, then it's not the position for you. So, everyone who I know was on the committee, all of their quarterbacks are in the All-Star game. So it is what it is. When I look at Colin Pierce, it's just one of those. It's the old saying, man. You can put lipstick on a pig. You can dress it up as much as you want. You can try and make the arguments for this and that and the other, but man, it's still a pig at the end of the day.
So here's what I'll say, Johnny. I didn't put Tommy Utah on that. Does that make me a bad panelist, a bad columnist? This was
no, dude, because that would make you fucking stupid to do that. Like, Tommy Utah, like, doesn't deserve to be there, and like, and credit to you for, like, if you were on that committee and understood that your quarterback didn't belong to be there.
So, obviously now there's people are starting to put 2 and 2 together. Yes, I was part of the committee, and what I will say from the committee aspect is,
dude, you can say what you want, man. Like, right, it is what it is. The only thing I will accept, Tyler, which no one said this explanation, the only thing I will accept as the explanation is that this year there was a new rule implemented that there is a max of 5 players per team that are allowed in there, and and there's already 5 London nights. Then I would happily step to the side to let my teammates enjoy that game. I would happily step to the side. Well,
was
yeah,
the
no,
aspect
but no,
for
yeah. So, but why wouldn't anyone just say that? They tried to make arguments that I wasn't good enough. It went on. It went on for 24 hours. It turned divisive and whatnot. Why would Siege Falco try and make an argument to why I'm a bad, why I don't deserve to be in there? Why would other people stay silent? Why would people try and argue that Pierce is is an all-star caliber quarterback? I mean, you just say no. Yeah, Pickler's clearly the best, man. But there's a lot of great nights, and you know what? Pickler will step to the side for them. He's been in the All-Star games. We want to share awards. It's this league's about sharing. Not the best makes it in. So it's participation trophies at this point. You want to just. I've been in the All-Star the last 3 seasons. I've been an All-Star, so you don't want to give me another one, even though I was the best quarterback in the league. It is what it is, man. Like, it doesn't look good when the quarterbacks are inferior in every department, and yet they're there, and yet their owners are on the panel. It just does. It's not a good look for the league. It's not a good look for the committee. It is what it is.
I'm gonna step in because we are way over time, and Johnny.
Yeah, man. No, you're good. Hey, I love you. I love you, Dave. All the panelists, and the committee. They don't have an easy job, but you fucked up. It is what it is. You can put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. I'm focused on winning a fucking championship, but I got to get by Baltimore first, and that's going to be a tough task. I hope you guys all have a great night.
All right, Johnny, thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Later, bud.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pickler, always something. He's always got something to say, and I can't completely say that I disagree with him this time. I do think that there was some funny stuff in the chat going on, like Art Vandelay saying it looks like Frank is about to get a haircut.
That's the longest 60 seconds I've ever heard.
It was 90 seconds, bro. It's like this show being an hour. It's like this show being an hour and 15 minutes. So,
yeah.
All right, let's move on to our last game. Tyler, you've got what was probably the best game of all, but ended in another dumb way with Tulsa, within field goal range. All you have to do, rush the ball. If you break one, you can get a touchdown. All you got to do is kick a fucking field goal. And what do? Well, you could tell us the rest.
Well, what you do is you lose the game for your team, and you throw your 7th interception and 3rd to Mr. Davidson. Unfortunately, it has to be said, Tulsa, JQ lost you that game. Those 7 interceptions were hard to come by. The Carolina defense was just all over you this past weekend. Unfortunately, Tulsa, who struggled against Indianapolis in Week 14, struggled to get going versus Carolina. It showed. Carolina had their number. Both teams with a pretty decent pressure on opposing quarterbacks, but clearly the pressure on the road for JQ was just too much to handle for Tulsa, and Carolina comes away with a solid victory. It wasn't, it was death by 1,000 cuts, or in our case, death by 1,000 field goals,
right?
Or though it seemed like. Malone Brown had a solid game, 3 of 3, 41-yard long, perfect on the day. And it just took a while for them to get going. Their bell cow, Douglas Brown for Tulsa on the ground, only 25 rushing yards and only 45 yards through the air. Just really, really tough. They made JQ throw the ball 60 times. If we want to continue talking about passing numbers after Johnny Pickler. 2 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a 42-yard long. It was decent for JQ, but Carolina just has looked un-Carolina-ish from all intents and purposes. They've been a better team this season. Their first positive season in ages. Above 500 is what I mean by that. Their first season where they can really prove to the SFL that yes, they can go on these good seasons, and yes, they can make a deep playoff run. And for them, yes, this is a deep playoff run. This is their first victory in the playoffs in 20 seasons.
Wait, their first victory was but it wasn't their first playoffs, right? Didn't they make the playoffs like 6 seasons ago or something like that?
This was their first playoff since season 11.
Wow.
They had been in 4 playoffs beforehand, lost all 4 on the road. This was their first one at home. This is where they get their first victory. Just a whole lot of demons being shed for Carolina. Really good game for them. Davidson.
I'm sorry.
Just comes away with clutch.
Did you hand your cat to Fox while you were doing your segment? What the fuck is going on here?
Unless Buck has a doppelganger with white white markings.
That, buddy.
I'm like, how the fuck?
How
did that just happen? How did that just happen? Well, let's bring Harish on, bro, and then you got more to say. You can continue on. But I want to bring Harish in. Harish, bro, first of all, sorry for keeping you waiting so long. But the good news is at least you're not holding on as long as Jeremy.
Jeremy, I'm so sorry. I promise I would be prompt.
Dude, I don't understand how this show got so out of hand. It was scheduled for like an hour 45, man.
See, your mistake was bringing up the All-Star game.
Oh, that's part of it too. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it at length earlier too. You're right. But first of all, Harish, welcome back to the show, bro. It's been a minute. How you been, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Dave. I appreciate it.
I have to tell you, I was not rooting for Carolina in Week 14.
That's okay. Look, it's a two-way street.
I agree. I agree with that. But congrats.
Look, we root for what's best for our team.
I get it. Congrats nonetheless. Let me ask you this. Okay, so was Tyler accurate playoffs in 2000, not since 2011? And this was your first playoff victory ever? Or, I'm sorry.
Season 11.
Season 11, I meant. Sorry, yeah.
Correct, yeah. Season 11. That was my rookie season. And this is the first time we have made the playoffs under mine and Siobhan's ownership.
So first of all, I know this is the question that when like the quarterback wins the Super Bowl, runs off the field, the idiot side reporter says, how do you feel or whatever, but I'm going to ask it anyway, bro, because I've heard now I've been gone for 5 days, but I've heard that you've been like nonstop for like 120 hours about how excited you are and about Carolina winning and all that stuff.
It's like Tyler said, it just all the demons were just the demons and ghosts were ghost busted. All I had for my entire coaching career, I had just been saying I just wanted a shot in the playoffs, and as a coach, it felt great to actually get there and to actually win my first game as in the playoffs. So it's crazy, and more than anything else, I'm just happy for my teammates and all the people that have stuck by me for so many seasons, especially the guys like Michael Trujillo, aka Davidson Joseph, who had a hat trick in that playoff game.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, he solidified that game for you for sure. We're short a panelist for yours, so I'm gonna let Tyler either ask you two questions or I might ask you two questions. But Tyler, what do you got for Harish, bro?
I just got one question. Harish, I think it was you or someone else from Carolina who messaged me after, I want to say week 5 when you guys were, I want to say it was 3-1 or something like that. Yeah, way after week 5, 3-1 after beating DC, doing a really good job to start off your season hot. Has messaged me like, hey, great job on Axis or something like that. And I said, keep proving people wrong. Keep moving forward. You guys have done just that. Now, winners of your last 4 straight. And just go back to your coaching point. You face one of the toughest coaches to play against in Eddie Gage, upcoming here this upcoming weekend. What have you got to do to try and out-coach the coach in Eddie Gage?
I mean, most of us here know that Eddie is one of the best to ever do it in this league as far as coaching goes. So, really, it's just, I think the best thing we can do is just stick to Carolina football, right? We're on a 4-game win streak that includes the 3-time defending champs Baltimore, and we've got a formula that works for us. And, last time we played Arizona, we played them in the regular season. That was the famous Steve of the Week, cheesy pizza. And we lost that game. We had a chance to take the lead with I forget how much time was left on the clock, but we had a chance to take the lead there, and just not having our starting quarterback just killed us. And even without our starting quarterback, we put up over 30 points. But We were kind of in a bad stretch defensively for those couple of games between Vegas and that Arizona games, and it was kind of a come to Jesus moment for me as a coach that I had to sit down and really look at what was going wrong with my defense and the issues that we were having in those two games. I think I've got pretty much addressed, and I think we'll have a better chance as long as everybody stays healthy and we don't lose Ike or Matt again.
Hey, Harish, let me ask you this, bro. I mean, I understand what it's going to take to try to go in Arizona and win a game, but how do you feel about momentum being a thing? You know, you just mentioned to Tyler, you guys are on a 4-game win streak. Fox is sleeping, and
oh my God, he is sleeping.
A 4-game.
He pulled the cage.
You're on a 4-game win streak, and I mean, listen, we know this is AI, this is sim sports, but it still seems like that's a reality in this game. Sometimes we felt it in season 18 at Lone Star when we were able to go all the way to the chip. Do you guys feel that in your locker room? Do you feel that, when you're simming? Is it a whole clubhouse kind of thing going on with this momentum? And because of what happened before against Arizona, you can go in Arizona and beat them this weekend?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, just going into this game, I mean, obviously making the playoffs was like the biggest goal we had, right? But it wasn't just making it to the playoffs. We want to go on a run. We're going for the whole thing. Just getting there and winning game isn't the goal. And even going into that Tulsa game, we had a little bit of that thought of, well, we're on a 3-game win streak and Tulsa's on a 3-game losing streak. So, and we're at home, and we had picked up some pretty big wins along the way. So we felt like we had the better chance to win that game. And I will admit, when Ike went down, my heart dropped. Like, I just didn't know how the rest of that game was going to go. I was cussing so loud.
Wait, I heard you didn't cuss. I heard you didn't cuss. What's up with that?
You heard I did cuss? Who said that?
Everybody. They say you never cuss.
Oh yeah. Well, I do my best to be on my best behavior at all times. You know me.
He says shoot dang heck instead of the other things.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Oh fudge! I went down.
Fudge!
That's
right?
another injury.
Oh gosh darn it! But right, so if you don't have a hurt running back and you don't have a hurt quarterback, you like your chances this weekend because like Greg mentioned with ACA, you guys are kind of playing with house money too, especially now with a win in the wild card, right?
I mean, I'm not going to say we should be the favorites to go into this game, but I think it would be pretty silly to count us out.
Dave, I think Harish, I'm surprised you're not worried about yourself getting injured knowing your history.
Ooh, that's even a better thing. So, wow.
Here's the thing.
Wow.
Guess what? If I get hurt, I'm only wide receiver 3. Chase Earl and Heath McDaniel Jr. are monsters.
That was smart of you to do that. I agree. I'm also wide receiver 3, and you saw how much I got hurt this season. So,
I remember.
I get it. Yeah, I know you do.
See, you tied me. And then I took the lead because I got.
Because you got hurt.
We played a game at just the wrong time.
Well, you know what they say, better you than me, bro. But except for making the playoffs.
I guess I take the lead 3-2.
There you go. Well, you know what though? You take that 3-2, but you're in the playoffs and I'm not. So, good luck this weekend at Arizona. I know there's going to be a lot of people pulling for you, pulling for the upset, pulling for Carolina to do their thing. So good luck, bro. And if you guys get through, consider coming back on the show, and I promise I won't make you wait as long next week.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and thank you, Tyler, and everyone else.
All right, Harish, thanks for being here, bro. Harish Prasad, ladies and gentlemen, co-owner with his brother of the Carolina Skyhawks, who just last week in the wild card game won their very first playoff game as a franchise, thanks to Davidson Joseph. Who is it? Is that who it was? They got that. All right, we are going to. Here it is. All right, we're winding down. We're almost done. We're gonna interview Jeremy for the owner's box. We're gonna do our Divas of the Week real quick. There's only 4. Here's what's cool about the Diva of the Week, though. They didn't even do this on purpose, but these 4 guys, they all picked somebody from each game. So every single game has a Diva of the Week nominee this week, which I thought was pretty cool, especially since we did not plan it that way. And we're going to rush through pick'ems. No, the rule's going to be you just say the team. We're not going to even talk about it because I think we've talked about enough tonight already. And be talking enough, let's bring Jeremy Vega in. Jeremy, bro, I can't apologize enough, but I also can't thank you enough for waiting it out tonight and being here. How you doing, man?
I'm great. It's no worries at all. I'm happy that you invited me on the show. I hope everybody's doing good and having a good night so far. Hopefully nobody's as tired as some of your panelists.
Well, as Fox, yeah. Well, dude, I'm on 3 hours sleep rest right now from last night, so
nobody's more tired than you.
I'm hurting, but I can power through, man. I can power through. So, Jerry, let's build the base here. Let's build the foundation. When did you hear about the SFL? What got you involved? Which season or what year was your first time experiencing the SFL, and how'd you come about it?
I found the SFL just kind of going down like the rabbit hole of YouTube one late night. Not many people may even know who this is, but I was watching like a Ryan Moody video, and he was talking about the SFL, and so I started looking into that. And I don't know, as soon as I saw it, I just kind of like fell in love with the idea of it. And then the first game I watched live was the Season 9 championship between Mexico City and Chicago. And that was really great. And then after that, I joined as a player.
What season was that? Do you remember?
Season 9.
Season 9?
Yeah. And then I joined as a player for Season 10 to start.
Okay, and who did you play for in Season 10?
I played for Vancouver, yeah. So Vancouver picked me up as a wide receiver. I was probably the greatest wide receiver this league's ever seen. I was money hands. I think I had 4 touchdowns, like 10 yards, but...
Hey, that sounds like my rookie season in Atlanta, so
yeah.
I get it.
And that was the only season I ever played, too. So I quickly retired, had a brief career.
So did you quit? Did you give up your player because you got a team, or what was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, so I was on Vancouver for Season 10, and then going into the off season after that, I got my team, and I never really cared about having a player. That just wasn't interest. That wasn't like an interest of mine. I immediately fell in love with the idea of owning a team, of coaching, trying to win championships. So then between Season 10 and 11, I got my own team, and Season 11 was the Nightwings' first season in the SFL.
How'd you guys do that season?
We were terrible. I think we went like 3-9. We lost like our last 7 games.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, we were terrible. Yeah.
Okay,
it was a lot of fun though. It was a lot of fun.
But it only took you a couple seasons to win your first championship, right? What were the 2 seasons you won championships?
Well, so after Season 11, we had a terrible season. Season 12, we made the championship. So we went from like one of the worst teams to making the championship. And we had an incredible battle with the Storm in the snow. I don't know if people remember that championship, but it was the only snow championship game in the SFL, and that was a great battle. But then after that, for Season 13, went back to the championship, and that's when we beat the Seattle Tyrants. And that's when we won our first championship, which was a night that I'll never forget. A lot of fun.
I remember that vividly because I came into the during the playoffs of Season 13 is when I discovered the SFL. And I remember that Seattle, I don't remember who the receiver was, that long bomb at the last second of the game to put them in the championship against you guys.
Yeah, I think it was Mason Kirby, actually.
Was it Mason Kirby?
Yeah.
And then I remember watching the championship, and dude, I was hooked from the beginning. I saw Atlanta my first game. I saw the Seattle game. I saw you win the championship. I'm like, oh shit, this shit is for real. It's legit.
I think that's with most people too. They see it and it's just they immediately fall in love with it.
Now we know Season 14 Atlanta won, but then you came back and won again. Was it Season 15?
No.
Or
So
16?
I stopped coaching in Season 14, and then I came back, coached in Season 15, and we made the semifinals and lost to Baltimore in the snow, which was a really fun game. And then Season 16 went back to the championship and beat the Storm in probably my vote for the greatest championship game in SFL history.
Is that the one where Kramer hit the field goal at the end?
Yep.
Yeah, that was great. Side note, real quick, do you still keep in touch with him? How's he doing?
Kramer?
Yeah.
We talk every once in a while. He still owns part of the franchise. So we keep in contact every once in a while. He got married recently. He's doing great. He's working a couple jobs, still doing his radio gig in Kansas City. So Kramer's always living his best life. That's what's so great about him.
That's cool. That's really cool. So you mentioned how you never wanted to play or you wanted to be into coaching. Then then you got a team. You became an owner, and now the last few seasons you've kind of backed out of coaching. You're basically just an owner now. Are you still helping with the coaching? How's that dynamic working? And what was the purpose behind you getting out of coaching? Were you just burned out, or were you trying to give other guys some time at coaching, or what was the deal with that?
Yeah, I haven't coached in the last 4 seasons. I think, yeah, 4 seasons. I mean, honestly, it was just, I would say it wasn't me being burnt out. It was just I felt like I had nothing left to I don't know what's right to earn. Nothing left to accomplish. I mean, went to 3
prove,
championships.
nothing to prove.
Yeah, I mean, when you go to 3 championships, you win awards, you break records. I mean, after that, it's just you're satisfied. And I'll never understand how somebody like T-Pat is still coaching, despite all of his success, his insane success. So, but I mean, maybe he loves it that much, and he's just always driven by it. But definitely can't say the same for me, because it's a lot of work, and if you've coached, you know that it comes with just so many like heart attacks, and I don't know. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of stress. And
it's a grind. It's a grind.
Yeah, and I don't miss that. So I definitely stepped away, and I've always wanted to just be an owner. I just wanted to let people kind of coach and get their glory and become successful. And so when I think Adam was season 17 and 18, and I worked with him in the off season to kind of show him everything that I had known. But after that, it was all Adam. And then Javier Vasquez became our coach for 19 and part of 20, and it was the same thing. Just kind of showed him everything that I know, and then it was just all him from there.
So this season, though, you had a mid-season or a third of the way season coaching shakeup? How did that go down?
Yeah, Javier, he stepped down from coaching and gave Stefan Forge kind of the head coaching job. Forge was working with Javier a lot. He was also an assistant coach, and I think Javier just wasn't getting the success he wanted, and he didn't want to be a detriment to the team. We all loved Javier, but I think that he just wanted what was best for the team, so he gave the job to Stefan Forge, and Forge did really good. He's a really great leader.
Yeah.
We all have really been enjoying Forge, and he's going to coach for us in season 21. So we're all really excited about that.
Well, congrats to him. He's one of my favorite people in the Party People chat for sure.
Yeah, fantastic.
Couple more quick questions.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, actually, he used to be one of my favorite people till the last game of the season when you knocked us out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, that was rough. How the last 2 questions I like to ask for every owner that's been on here. I think you're probably, I don't know, we've probably done maybe 10 of these, I think. The first question is, as you look back to season 9 when you got here, other than, the amount of people that have shown up because of COVID, what's the biggest changes you've seen in the league, and what do you think, other than COVID, has drawn so many people to the SFL?
I think probably the biggest change I've seen, it's been a gradual change season to season, but it's been the on-field product. I mean, I know that we've been using APF, and everyone has their gripes about that game, and rightfully so. But the on-field product, it's just from 11 seasons, it's just gotten better and better and better, and it continues to get better. And all the praise to Cam for the work he puts in. But I mean, as gradual as it's been, if you do just kind of look back at season 9 and you're looking at things now, it's entirely different, and better in every way too, which is fantastic. I know we're all coming up with our challenges with the Switch, and maybe things will be better, maybe things won't, but I know at the end of the day, the on-field product, no matter what game we're using, is still just going to continue to get better season to season. But as far as what's drawn people, YouTube rabbit holes is my best guess. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, that's your answer kind of segues me to my last question anyway. And Ray, I only have owners on the show. You can't come on if you're just a GM. The new game, the new direction of the league. What's your take on it? How do you feel about it? Did you have a different opinion of it at first than you do now? Just kind of take us through your thought process with the new direction.
I mean, it's a lot of change, and it's a lot of work learning new things. Because as an owner, especially, I guess in my case, Kramer owns part of the team, but he's not too really involved in it. And Javier Vasquez, I don't know if many people know this, but he stepped down from ownership and he actually left the league. And so it's back to me running things like I used to, kind of top to bottom outside of coaching. And so when we have a big change like this, and there's so many things that you now have to learn all over again, it's a bit much. It's a bit intimidating. And so I'm still a little iffy about all of that. But as far as the game we're going, I mean, I feel that the game itself, as far as graphics go, may be like a step down, but some of the gameplay is a step up. Yeah. I view this whole situation as just a sidestep, and then we'll see where we can grow from here. And I'm excited to see how these changes with the progression and salary cap kind of go with it, but we're all tackling it together, so it's interesting. But overall, I just view this as a sidestep for the league, and hopefully we start to grow again from here.
Well, Jeremy, congrats on the championships. Congrats on knocking us out of the playoffs, and thanks for coming on the show. Tyler wants to ask you something really quick before you bounce.
Hey, Jeremy, how are we doing tonight?
Great, Tyler. How are you?
Good. I'm going to try to keep this quick, though. I'm going to sound a little bit like Gunny here for a little bit. When looking back at that season 16 championship winning team, compared to this team, you got Josh Miller in his final season, Jared McChesney in his final season, Bryce Battle, Giacomo Jones, Jeremy Mosley, Kramer Jackman. And they're all, relatively new in their careers. Not a whole lot of seasons. When you look at your current roster, Sands, Gene Struthers, and Dylan Lewis, it looks like your offense has gotten older, but unfortunately, you guys have gone into a little bit of an extended championship hangover, unable to get over 500 since then. I loved what Forge has done since coming into the coaching role. What is the next step for the Denver Nightwings organization to try and get back to 500 or get beyond 500 from season 21 onward?
Great question. I think that I think our first step is to rebuild this roster around, I guess, the pillars of this team, like Bailey O'Shaughnessy and Ari Mills, Logan Keel, Gene Benazzi, Hugo Reynosa, Stefan Forge in the back end, Rosca Santagria. Just those pillars that are still here, that have been here. We just need to surround them with young and upcoming talent. And if I'm being honest, we're kind of going into another mini rebuild. We're losing probably half our roster, so it's definitely going to be a tough task to put the right pieces around them. But we got to put, in my eyes, people that are going to be here for the long haul, so that they can grow around these great talents that have been here and have been growing into the great players they are now. And then I think after that, it's just going to be doing everything we can to support Forge in the coaching aspects. It's not easy, but we all have faith at Forge based on the small amount of his body of work. We think he's going to be a great coach. So I think that once we get the right pieces in place and Forge gets a little bit more reps, it may not be this upcoming season, but I'm anticipating a huge jump. Wherever we finish in season 21, I'm anticipating a huge jump for season 22 and beyond.
Looking forward to it, Jeremy. It'd be good to see the Denver Night Wings back in the mix for the playoffs, competing for more championships.
Absolutely. Anything so I can get super drunk and scream and have a lot of fun. So
That's all that really matters. All right, Jeremy, thanks again for waiting for so long on this ridiculously long show for some reason, but appreciate you being here, and hope we'll do it again sometime when you don't have to wait so long.
absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everybody. Everybody have a great night.
You got it, bro. Thanks. All right, folks. Jeremy Vega, the owner of the Denver Night Wings. And that means we've only got a couple small little things to do, and then we're Audi 5000. Like I said, 90 minutes, hour 45-ish. Ways to do the ish.
Half hours.
It is what it is, man. Come on. All right, real quick. Oh, why do I have predictions on? That's not what I want to do. I'm really fucking shit up tonight. All right, we have 4 Divas of the Week. Only 4. I didn't watch any games, so I am not going to have one. So our first Diva of the Week will go to Frank first, and he'll tell us who it is. I'll play the clip. We'll do that 4 times. We'll move on to pick'ems, then we outie. All right, Frank. I know Frank likes to stay up late, so I was trying to drag this out as long as possible for him.
I'm sitting here thinking, guys, I got school in the morning.
I know you do, bro. I don't know. I don't know what happened tonight. This is what happens when I got home and I got pressed, and I just came up with a lot of shit to do on the show. Sorry, man.
It's Tyler in the bottom square. It's all thrown off.
Is that what it is? Oh, that's true. Maybe we'll put him back in Thursday.
Back in my corner, Dave.
We'll put him back in the
corner.
Yeah, we'll put him back at the hot corner next week. It'll be like a 90-minute show. So, all right, Frank, Diva of the Week for the Wild Card weekend.
All right, my Diva of the Week is well known, spoken about, and well spoken actually, and it was his 4th TD that put the nail in the coffin for London, and that is Johnny 2K Pickler.
From the 21, London will empty it out. Pickler's had a brilliant day. He will go for the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown. Fox High Winds with the late hits on top of it, to be sure. 4th touchdown for Johnny Pickler. Let's see the call. Yes, late hits against Las Vegas and Chris Magel. 4th passing touchdown for Johnny Pickler, and it's going to be a playoff win for the London Knights.
All right, folks. Diva of the Week nominee number 1 for the Wild Card weekend, nominated by Frank the Franchise Wade, is none other than the man you heard earlier in the show, Mr. Johnny Pickler. Fox, we move on to nominee number 2. Who you got?
My nominee is from the Vancouver Indianapolis game. He was 6 for 6, caught 3 touchdowns. I believe he had 117 yards, including a dagger at the end of the game to seal it for Vancouver, and that would be Brett Killian.
Wow, that's 2 for 2. That people on the show. See what happens. You get on the show, you get Diva of the Week nominee. Here we go.
Is going to have to step up here and try to create a turnover here.
Brown to throw. Deep caught. Brent Killian to the 17.
And your offense is rolling. It's definitely a tough task for a team like Indy to come back in a game and how they're playing.
Christian Brown caught. How did he put that one in there? Touchdown. Brett Killian's 3rd best play of the game.
And that is most definitely the best throw of the game. Wow. Threw in between 4.
Oh, man. I don't know. I almost feel like that pass should be Diva of the Week. How it got through those 3 defenders, I have no idea. All right, Diva of the Week nominee number 1, Johnny Pickler. Diva of the Week nominee number 2, Brett Killian. Diva of the Week nominee number 3, let me guess. It's either going to be Soto, Harish, or Jeremy Vega.
I'm going to go with Divas of the Week.
What?
They held Minnesota to 3 points all game.
Oh.
They sacked Johnny Reno 1 time, half a sack credited between Jukin Rukin and Tina Begin. They picked off Johnny Reno 6 times, 2 apiece for Albert Begin, our main man Gunny, Mickey McGuire, and Rain Rie. Let's go with the Alamo City Artillery defense.
3rd down and 10. Ball at the 24. Reno to throw, goes deep, intercepted.
That's it.
Donnie McGuire returns it to the 30, returns it to the 20. Donnie McGuire puts it into the red zone at the 13-yard line. 6th pick of the game for Johnny Reno. And that's all she wrote, I'm afraid.
And the season ending in the whimper for Minnesota. They do have their 3 timeouts left, but Alamo City, all they have to do really is burn the clock, have Minnesota use up all their timeouts.
Hey, Gunny, I don't know, but with that spin move, if you ever want a halfback gig, hit me up, bro. I need a new halfback. All right, we got Johnny Pickler. We got Brett Killian. We've got the entire Alamo City defense. And then last but not least, Tyler, who's our 4th Diva of the Week nominee for the Wild Card weekend?
Nate, you're fired from the third circle spot. You threw off the entire groove. Me, Frank, and Fox all have a theme going here, and you picked the defense, not a dagger. I'm gonna go for another dagger pick here, Dave, because a 3rd interception from Davidson Joseph puts the nail in Tulsa's comeback bid in the coffin. And honorable mention to Josh Circle on the analysis, just going completely nutso on the call. Take a listen.
Ball away.
Let's see what they try to do. This is going to be interesting. Carolina pressing off. This is kind of a surprise move here from the defense.
Yes.
2nd and 2 from the 19. Q looking deep in the end zone. That is picked up. Davidson Joseph, his 3rd pick of the night, and he's going to try to take it down past 30, and Carolina just sealed the deal.
You got to be kidding me.
Oh, my God.
You got a field goal. You got a chance to tie the game. But you're going for the kill shot. Davidson Joseph right there on Gabriel Manning. He's almost in triple coverage. Wow. Davidson Joseph, 3rd pick of the night. He had 2 already. You're going to throw to him again? Unbelievable.
Wow.
Dude, Josh was completely losing his shit on that call. Holy crap. Unbelievable.
It's reminiscent of the certain tailback for Seattle wouldn't get in. Marshawn Lynch moment.
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks. So we've got I always mess his name up. Joseph Davidson? David Josephson? I don't know, whatever. All right, and then we've got Alamo City defense. We've got who's yours again, Fox? Shit, I forgot it. Brett Killian. And then we got Johnny Pickler. So there you go. Those 4. I don't know if they're going to be in tonight. I don't know if they'll be in the morning. I love the chat already. David Josephson. I don't know, bro. And I don't know when Holdorf will put them in, but they'll be in there. There's only 4, and it's all competitive teams that vote a lot. So this will be a very interesting Diva of the Week. Just a quick reminder. Last week, Mike O'Neill's chair was Diva of the Week with 100% of the vote because I was the only vote. But I didn't have a graphic last week, so boom, there you go. All right, moving on to the very last thing. Can you believe it's almost over? Are we sad that this thing's going to end soon already? I'm starting to get a little teary-eyed. Looks like Fox is getting teary-eyed too.
Dave, I've got work in 3 hours. Buddy.
I know. Hey, bro, I haven't slept in over 24, so it's all right. So it's okay. Hey,
is this the Jerry Lewis telethon?
That's right. I'll tell you what, Fox. I'll dream about you at work, and we'll call it even. How about that? Okay.
Thanks so much.
All right,
12
folks.
12 hours will go by really quick.
I might sleep for fucking 12 hours. I don't know what's going to happen here. What's my record? Oh, Cliff Allen. Back in the day when I used to do Axis After Dark, we'd go 3.5 hours, bro. This isn't even going to be close. All right, we got 4 games on tap. I'm just going to do them in the order that they're on the graphic. Just tell me the team. You don't have to tell me why. Vancouver, the 7th seed, traveling to Fort Worth, the 3rd seed. Frank, who you got?
Fort Worth.
I think I lost. Did you guys hear him?
He said Fort Worth.
Okay.
Fort Worth.
Fox?
Fort Worth.
Nate?
Vancouver breaks the spell.
Oh, if that happens, you might get that might be the pick of the season. Tyler?
I'm right there with you. Spell's broken.
Really?
Vancouver gets their 2nd playoff win.
Is this a you want your spot back next week pick? Or?
Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well. Oh, that's right. Jack Walt. Jack Walt always used to bug me about coming on After Dark, and I never let him. Game number 2. on the graphic. 8th seeded Carolina at 2nd seed Arizona. Frank.
Arizona.
Fox.
I'm gonna go Carolina.
Nate.
Arizona.
Tyler.
Zona at home.
Yep. All right, the third quarterfinal game on the graphic. 6th seeded London and 4th seeded. It's almost as weird to even say this. 4th seeded Baltimore. Baltimore at home against London. Frank.
Upset special, London.
Wow. Johnny really got to you on that call. Fox, I know you. Give me 15 seconds on why.
We thought we were going to play them last year, and it didn't happen. I know Liam's been simming for this game for 2 years, for 2 seasons. So
Yeah.
I think we've got something to prove.
Okay, thank you for doing 15 seconds and not 15 minutes like your teammate. Nate.
Baltimore.
Baltimore, yeah. Tyler.
What's this? Baltimore going to be the underdogs? I'm picking London. What? Maybe I'm drinking Johnny's Kool-Aid, but it's a 3-1 for London.
What is going on here? Wow, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that London is a 3-1 favorite on this panel. That blows my mind. Last game, and the last thing we'll do before Freddie comes on and sings to us, the 12 at the 1. Alamo City going to Atlanta. My personal 2 and 3 seeds. Frank, I know you've got Alamo City, but give me 15 seconds on why.
I'm going with the strength of our defense, and I believe our offense is. We've been kind of just hanging tough for a little while. I think we're going to explode this weekend.
All right, Fox.
It'll be Atlanta in a close one. Sorry, Frank.
Nate.
I'm going Alamo City in this one.
You like that defense over there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Tyler, you got the last word on the pick'ems.
Alamo City had a great show versus Minnesota. I don't think they can go 2 for 2 against how hot Atlanta's been this season with BDG and Dynasty. I'd have to go Atlanta. And I do agree with Fox. It is going to be a very close one.
Okay. All right, folks. There's your pick'ems, your Diva of the Weeks, your Owner's Box interview. We talked free agency. We talked All-Star game. We broke down all 4 games from the wild card. Is there anything we did not do tonight, folks? I don't think so. I'm sure we gave Bullet. I'm sure we gave Bullet plenty of bullet points for next week. And so that brings us to my other main man, Freddie, to come on and sing us good night. Freddie, how you doing, buddy?
Good night. What's up, Dave? How you doing, bud?
I'm just glad you're still
show.
awake.
Great.
I'm just glad you're still awake, Freddie.
Well, I've been doing a little simming, so you know how that is.
I get it. I get
And
it.
I want to give a shout out to my boys at Bluff City now. Got to say, Knox City dropped a couple points.
Yeah, but not against you, so it's okay.
Yeah, but we're only 1 point behind you now. You can't drop no more.
Well, we'll see.
Anyway, here we go. As our good buddy Danny Don would say, turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Let's call it a night. The party's over. Until next week, where we'll party down again. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Next week, hopefully we won't have a 3-hour show again. And we're not even going to hit 2:45, for God's sake. So I don't know why everybody's fucking whining. Get out of here. Special thank yous to Frank, the Franchise Wade, Fox Highwind, Nate Hall, and Tyler, soon to be bringing Netma back, possibly, maybe, Falk.
Will.
Will be bringing it back. Brett Killian for being on the program, along with Greg Soto, Johnny Pickler, Harish Prasad, Jeremy Vega, Bullet Beletsky, Fab56 Freddy, Gunny, and I think I got everybody. I'm not 100%, but I hope so. And I guess it seems like Fox couldn't even hang on for like another 30 seconds. That's what she said. Boom. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. We'll see you at the Tees. Tune in at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Put out for me.
I thought you did that on purpose. We'll see you next week. See you next. Oh, I almost said that too soon. See you at the Tees next Tuesday. I promise we won't go another 2 hours and 45 minutes. We'll get it under wraps. I don't know how, but we'll try. And
It will never happen, Dave.
And
Never.
I'm going to try so hard. I'm going to cut out 2 of the panelists, and I won't invite Johnny back. How about that? That's a good start. That'll save us like an hour right there. So, as my good friend from Houston always likes to tell me, see you next Tuesday.